Hello, everybody, and welcome to Swim or Sink 98. My name is Splatoon Lily, and I'm joined here by the wonderful Weave. How are you doing, Weave?
I'm doing pretty good, especially with the recent news we just got. But other than that, yeah, I'm doing great. How are you right now?
Not too bad. It's a pretty chill Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right? So it happens on Wednesdays.
I'm counting on my fingers here. It does look like it's Wednesday.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. It's a chill Wednesday night. We got some pretty hype news through the DLC coming up. I know some people are really excited for that Splatoon 1 Plaza. I don't know that I'm one of them, but are you going to be switching back to watch Callie and Marie all day?
I never actually played Splatoon 1, so
Oh.
I don't know. So it might be it's new ground for me, which is interesting. But
that's really exciting. Then you might have to take that switch just to experience the Splatoon 1 Plaza.
100%. But we are gonna get into it fairly soon here. Starting out with Ocean 7 versus Heaven's Reflection. And I believe the first stage is gonna be Rainmaker Sturgeon Shipyard here.
Yeah, super exciting. I honestly love the changes they've made to this map in this game, and it's kind of made it bearable, you know?
Yeah. You can't just KO in 30 seconds anymore. You have to, fortunately and unfortunately, it's less funny, but it's definitely more balanced to have to wait for the spinner to come down and re-break the Rainmaker shield after you get that checkpoint there on the far left, so...
Yeah. And I mean, nowadays, too, the left used to be the best route to take to try to get that Rainmaker through and get points on it, but nowadays it's not even really the best option, especially with that new box they put just past the right checkpoint.
Yeah, no, and like, you can actually get to the right checkpoint pretty fast there, especially if you have the right control for it. But it adds a lot more strategy in that there's you can still go for the left checkpoint if you are in the right, if the cards are right for you. But it's gonna be more of a conscious effort to think about which path you're gonna take and a bit more strategy involved versus just okay, let's go left.
Absolutely. You kind of have to sit in mid and see where people are going and kind of weigh your options now. It's a bit of a slower start, but I find things tend to snowball a little bit more quickly once they get going.
Yeah, snowballing is both fun and annoying. It's fun if you're the team snowballing, but not great if you're not the, if you can't figure out how to stop it on the other side. So.
Yeah, and I mean, by the time you get to February, everyone's sick of snow anyway, so you gotta figure something else new. So, I mean, either way, we'll be getting into it pretty soon, but are you familiar with either of these teams?
I know that Ocean 7, I believe they are recently reformed, and I don't know anything about Heaven's Reflection, which, is exciting because we have no idea what we're going to get into. Which is more, like I said, it's more exciting in a way than knowing the teams because it's truly random on what we'll see, and we could get anything out of this.
Honestly, and yet some of the best strats I get to see from teams comes from teams I've never even heard of before, which is always just so exciting to be like, oh, they're running a GooTuber and a ballpoint now. I don't know why or how we're doing this, but let's go.
Yeah, let's see what they can do with it. So, I mean... Yeah, it's always exciting when you get to see unconventional comps and things that you don't see every day because even though it's not necessarily more fun to play, although many people, myself included, think it is, it's definitely more fun to watch because it's not just the same thing on both sides. Let's see who makes the mistake first. It's like, how do these comps interact? How do they take, their comps advantages to the fullest? And here we're going to see which comps they are pulling out right now.
Actually kind of exciting. 3 splashes, which shouldn't be too unusual in the meta nowadays, but we're also seeing a brush coming out and a squeezer as well.
Yeah, that's super interesting. The brush, I believe, actually recognized that player from Polyamorous Gamership, but used to be on that team. But the brush just brings the Zipcaster in, which is a super fun special to watch, super interactive, and definitely has a high skill sense. So we're definitely gonna see what they pull out with that there.
Always super exciting. We're seeing Pion over here, the machine, trying to exert a little bit of pressure on top mid and having to back up on the left side. Very unusual, but going down to that brush and having to forfeit some of that ground.
Yeah, it looks like Heaven's Reflection has taken the upper hand here. Well, I would say that if they didn't just get the Rainmaker swept out from under their feet, they are going to get the pop again shortly. And are going to be able to probably continue pushing up, but, they did take mid pretty quickly, and now Ocean 7 is in a bit of an uncomfortable spot right off the bat, as they are forced on defense right off the bat.
It looks like we're going to be trying to do a left pull and going down. You always have to check that snipe. It's the most dangerous part of this left side push, and that machine is still sharking around here somewhere. I don't think Heaven's Reflection quite knows where they are, but they're going to rush for that checkpoint anyways.
Yeah, the machine ended up being on top and ended up getting a pick on the brush with that Booyah Bomb. And so even though they get that checkpoint, that is not going to be a sustainable push, and they are going to be forced back in the mid. And Ocean's Reflection now is starting to take it back and start to get that control that they desperately need back.
And this is really all Ocean 7 needs. They need a bit of paint and a bit of some really nice picks. That brush is a really good start just to get this rolling again. 2 down now on the side of Heaven's Reflection. This looks like the start of a very nice push.
Yeah, they are already 2 down. The sniper is down there, which is huge. It's going to allow them to move so much more freely. The machine does go down, but this is still something that they can definitely take. Looks like they are going to be kind of stalling on taking the Rainmaker, though, as they do go 2 down. Not really feeling comfortable quite yet, and looking probably just to get a bit more control and their members all back up before they do decide to push.
I don't know, I'm just kind of sitting here screaming, pick up the fish, pick up the fish, pick up the fish. We finally do pick up the fish, but now all the members of Heaven's Reflection have respawned and a member of our own team is down. Means that push that we had nicely set up for quite some time there is not really going to get any legs.
Yeah, that's the kind of hesitation that can lose you a game. Like, even if you make the wrong choice, making a decision is just so important. Any decision is better than nothing. So right there, we already see, they had all that control, they had the specials already. At one point, they had the members, and they just didn't do anything with it, and were unable to push. And now they're going to be, Heaven's Reflection is taking full advantage of that hesitation, swiping back, getting mid back, and starting to think about pushing once again.
Yeah, Ocean 7 here also staggering, losing some specials and some players on a bit of an off pace. Not exactly what you'd like to see. They're having to use all of their specials they have ready now just to take control of mid. But it's not really the position you want to be in when you still have to push to a checkpoint.
Looks like Ocean 7 is actually, they did try to go for the jump, made it, so the Rainmaker is on that ledge there. But they didn't quite have the control again. We were seeing them go all for the left. As we did discuss earlier, it might not be the best in most circumstances. We are going to see the crab come out on that checkpoint, but they are alone, so the crab gets shredded almost immediately, and they are going to be forced to back out.
Heaven's Reflection doing a fantastic job so far, just stalling around these checkpoints and using their specials in smart ways to keep Ocean 7 back. Ocean 7 now having to rotate around and try to make a run for this right side checkpoint, but might get cut off by a Splashmatic on Snipe and unfortunately goes down, unable to take that checkpoint.
Unfortunately, they just didn't have their team there to help. Their team was all focused on getting that left checkpoint, and didn't really, pivot around in time to support the Rainmaker going for the right. And now we see Heaven's Reflection. They have the specials up, but they have the man advantage, and we might see them, really take the upper hand here once again. They have been doing pretty well so far.
Yeah, 2 specials up on Heaven's Reflection, a staggered respawn on Ocean 7. They still have mid control, so that's a point in their favor. If they can get a few good picks and a few specials charged up, they might still have a chance at getting this checkpoint. They really don't have to go much farther than that to take lead.
Yeah, exactly. They only have to pick up and move like an inch to get that lead back, which is not something stable. So that means that Heaven's Reflection is wanting to make another push eventually. Maybe not necessarily this late in the game, but the lead is never safe in Rainmaker, especially when it's this narrow.
Absolutely. They are going to go down to that charger. A beautiful shot there to stop the Rainmaker from getting too close to that checkpoint. And some players dropping down, both going down to a beautiful play from Ocean 7. Andrew here doing a fantastic job. Might be able to get their team that checkpoint. Yeah, beautiful.
We'll see if Heaven's Reflection can stop them from picking up the Rainmaker once again and getting the lead here. The Rainmaker is just, everyone's throwing what they have at it. They did get the pop, but there are a few picks going around here. Tri-Strike's going out, and they're going all the way back in their spawn, and unfortunately the picks just did not line up right, and Heaven's Reflection was able to take it by pulling the Rainmaker all the way back.
They did make me a little bit nervous there, popping that so soon. I probably would have just, inflated it and made it very purple. 2 down on Ocean 7 would have made it a really very difficult pop to make in comparison or in contention. But at least they managed to pick it up and run it all the way back away. That was nicely done.
Yeah. That was an interesting game. We saw Ocean 7 get a good amount of control and get some really nice advantages on their side, but just not really take them to their fullest extent. They didn't really use them, to their fullest capacity. But we did see Heaven's Reflection on the other side go get that first push, but not really take it back any further than that.
Yeah, it was a strangely even game where Ocean 7 did have all of that control for so long and just didn't take advantage of it. Whereas Heaven's Reflection had a very good defense, but a bit of what appeared to be a weaker offense. Now that could just be the map pick. I know Octobrush sometimes struggles a little bit on that map, especially going up ledges against something like a machine. So maybe we'll see a bit more of a challenge here in Clan Blitz Scorch Gorge.
Yeah, the difference in a mode can make, like, the different modes can make a whole bunch of difference. What am I saying? Different playstyles suit different modes, and so we might see Ocean 7 really dominate here where they didn't before if they just are more used to Clan Blitz, which isn't something you see too often, but it certainly could be something that we see.
And it's very possible. Having that long control of mid makes me think that they might be very good at something like zones. But even Clam Blitz, where that control of mid gives you so much control over clams, I think that Heaven's Reflection is going to have to work pretty hard if they want to contest that control of mid. And we're going to have to see a little bit different playstyle from what we saw in that first game if they want to keep this in the game.
Ocean 7, I definitely could see them doing well here, especially because Clan Blitz Scorch Gorge, you're not really going to be pushing too far up until you're ready to make the push, just because mid is so massive and so contestable, so we'll definitely see how they do here pretty soon.
It's one of my favorites. Do you like it here?
I do like it here. None of my team shares that opinion, but I think
and they could be wrong.
They're always wrong, actually.
Love to see it. Oh, E-leaders coming out on both sides here. It's not something I expected to see coming out of Ocean 7, who didn't really have a backliner in that first game at all.
Yeah, they're both bringing out the scopes here, just really trying to maximize the sight lines all the way across mid here. We already see on the side of Ocean 7 the E-leader moving up into the grates, trying to get as much control as they can get.
Already doing a fantastic job of it too, especially with that crab here now for protection. They're going to be able to take quite a bit more of this unless these trip strikes force them way off. Beautiful trips coming in just in time.
Yeah, that's the power of the tri-strikes now. You pop them and the crab cannot exist. It really just negates it. It's a total cancellation. So we are seeing Ocean 7 here take mid pretty early on. This brush is going to shark, and he is going to get the double off of it. Beautiful play from them. They get 3 down, and now Ocean 7, all that mid control is gone, and Heaven's Reflection is free to pretty much move in unless...
Dat Kid here coming out with some beautiful picks, picking off one by one each of the players of Heaven's Reflection and completely reversing what was looking to be a very dangerous wipe.
Those kind of clutch plays are exactly what you want to see from, an individual teammate, turning an entire situation on its head and leading to a push that looks like it might be sustaining for pretty long here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like too many more clams are going to be coming in. There's none in Ocean 7's hands, and that counter already down below a quarter isn't going to leave much room for them to come back in. But if they can keep control of this mid area, that should be good enough for them to at least protect themselves against a counter push.
We saw that brush with the Zipcaster just trying to annoy the entire team of Ocean 7 by their basket, but is going to be recalled fast. They are just trying to get this mid here. It's pretty bisected. The E-leader is making it to where Ocean 7 can't move freely, but the entire side of their side is painted very nicely, and they do have solid control there.
Absolutely. That said, there's still 3 minutes left. We have a power clam on the board. I don't know that too much will come of it just yet. It really depends on how Heaven's Reflection responds to this pressure they're about to get.
Yeah. 2 down from the sides of Heaven's Reflection here, and we are seeing them try to move, Ocean 7 trying to move further in. It's only the E-leader who is going to be backed up here. They do get another power clam in, but it's anyone's game to see if they are going to be able to support it with more clams here, as they don't exactly have the numbers right now. Or they do. Well, now they do.
Yeah, already we're getting down below that 50-point mark. They've burnt through their entire penalty and already working down below that. We have more clams coming in from mid, being passed to teammates, and if they're not careful, this could be the end of the game. It's so hard to stop a push like this once it gets going. Yeah,
the E-leader is in a awkward spot, but they do get the pick. 2 down on the sides of Ocean 7, but they do have the power claim up, and it's 2 down on both sides, so we do... Oh...
Just off.
Yeah, missed power clam, meaning the game is going to last for a bit longer here. That would have been the KO. Unfortunate for Ocean 7.
Very unfortunate. The part here that concerns me is they still have full control. One player does go down on this left-hand side here, but the rest of Ocean 7 is in the basket, albeit without a power clam, but just holding that pressure and making it so hard for Heaven's Reflection to push back in.
Yeah, the brush goes down to the machine over there. The Tri-Strikes do come out, but it doesn't do all that much to push Ocean 7 out here. The E-Leader is in a great spot to just make sure that Heaven's Reflection is not able to move in too solidly. They do get the beautiful pick on the Crab Tank, meaning that control that would have been gotten. Oh my god. That was a triple from that beautiful E-Leader. And that's going to be game.
Oops here, unfortunately getting robbed of the quad. Not going to be able to post that Twitter clip, unfortunately. But still a beautiful triple. That was absolutely incredible to see on that defense. Or offense, I guess. Just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it felt like Heaven's Reflection wasn't able to get out of their spawn for a solid minute or two there. That was very, very good control from Ocean 7 and, you know, a complete flip on the head of how they did in the last game.
Yeah, and that was the kind of feeling I was getting from that Rainmaker game, that they were really good about getting into spaces and holding it, which isn't necessarily what you want to do with a Rainmaker, right? The Rainmaker and the tower control tend to need to move constantly, and this team looked like they were wanting to hold spaces, so I'm kind of expecting this Zones game to kind of go the same way, unless their brush player on Heaven's Reflection can make more use of the flanks on this map.
Yeah, the flanks and the Lick Dasters, you know, just getting that backline, that E-Leader that I'm sure we're going to see on this map out of the way is going to be so huge for allowing the rest of the team to move freely and get in. So it's anyone's game here, but with how we've been seeing, it's looking like it might, you know, be a bit favored towards Ocean 7.
Definitely. The Hagglefish Market, especially on Zones, is one of those maps where once you kind of get locked into your spawn, you have to use a lot of resources to get back out of it. And especially if the other team has a crab or a leader, it's so hard to get back moving once you've gotten wiped and pushed out. So I'm a little bit worried about that coming in. If Heaven's Reflection gets locked out, they are kind of lacking in some of the tools I would want to see for them to be able to break back in.
Yeah, there's so many good spots for a crab and a leader to hold on this map, so if they're not able to get moved or just get displaced in general, it can be really, really ugly in terms of just not being able to get out, not being able to move without just using like you said, so many resources. So
yeah, I'd love to see one of the teams, at least, or Heaven's Reflection in particular, I'd love to see them pull out some specials that are particularly geared towards displacement, especially now that they know kind of what they're fighting. If they're going to be seeing an E-Leader again, more crabs, you kind of want to pull out things like Trip Strike or Booyah Bomb, or, I mean, I hate to say it, but missiles. Or even things like Ray, or I guess Whale.
Ray Light.
Yeah, I can't break the habit of calling it Ray. Even in my own scrims, I'll be like, yeah, Ray's on me, and then I'll be like, wait, hang on. That's not Ray.
It's just it's basically the same thing.
It's
boil it down to its barest essentials.
Yeah, it's a beam of light that hurts me and follows me. That's Ray.
Yeah, just it's more healthy though, a lot less annoying. Well, it's still annoying, but it feels reasonable to fight against instead of just getting lasered from all the way across the map.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do kind of like that you can, if you know you're targeted, you can bring it away from your teammates to kind of keep it off of them. I find myself doing that a lot if I'm whaled, I guess, not raid, whaled. I'll pull it off to a side of the map so it doesn't impede the rest of my team.
All right, and so we're going to be going right into it and see if any of these teams bring out anything weird.
Pretty Nothing standard. Too strange so far.
And we see the brush again. Of course, it looks like they really, really like that out here.
Do you see a hero shot as well? Trizuka coming out. I'm not entirely sure how much that'll help, but if we can pop it and aim it directly at crabs and E-Leader, I should be doing a great job.
It's something that it can get a ton of value or it can get no value and very little in between. Immediately, though, we do see it get used against that crab.
I'm doing a fantastic job of pushing them back, too.
We already see that's the second crab, I believe, and that's just a massive thing for them to get that much control. But it looks like they don't get the use of it out of it that they want, as Heaven's Reflection is starting to get encroach on that lead, and they take the lead here, very narrow, but it's still the beginning of the game.
Paulo managing to get out of that big fight on the left-hand side of the map, doing a fantastic job of staying alive and pulling attention. Does manage to get the team the lead, and 3 down now for Ocean 7. It's going to put Heaven's Reflection in a pretty good position if they can get this lockout going.
Yeah, there's no players in that court there, and if they can move up fast enough, they can really turn this into a nasty lockout here. We see the brush get moved back, and looks like they aren't going to be able to hold it intensely for that much longer, especially with that crab coming up. The crab comes out from the enemy team, so it's really anyone's game here.
Booyah here coming in and helping with that cap. A fantastic job. They needed that, especially then. But do they know that there's a flank coming in on their right side? That could turn it very dangerous so they don't catch it soon.
They try calling it out, but they do still go down. And we do just see the hero shot out here, just trying to make it count.
It can be rough, especially when you get pushed out with a short-range weapon like that, but they're doing a pretty good job. Double crab here popping on the zone is going to push Heaven's Reflection way up and way out. The zip cast coming in behind might give them a bit of an advantage, especially against that E-leader. A beautiful trade.
That's exactly the kind of trade you want to get, but unfortunately, yeah, and that, brings it into Ocean 7 going 3 down and Heaven's Reflection taking this advantage once again. The Ocean 7 wasn't really able to get much sustained there, only a few points down on their timer there.
Yeah, Heaven's Reflection doing a good job here getting this lockout moving, but the members of Ocean 7 are going to have crabs out here very soon, as we already heard that pop. Both of them out on this tarp, going to do a fantastic job painting the zone and completely backing up Heaven's Reflection. There's 2.5 minutes left, and I mean, if they want to take this lead, they need a lockout started very soon.
We'll see if they are able to push up and take the control that they need, but with the E-leader watching, it isn't exactly going to be easy, and that crab over there, the brush is going to be sharking, but they are going to get flanked from their right there, and we'll see if that flank gets anything done.
It does look like a trade coming up from that flank, and 3 down on the side of Heaven's Reflection. That is going to be lead for Ocean 7, and a beginning of a very good lockout with very little time left for Heaven's Reflection to try to retake.
Yeah, the E-leader goes down, and the players are just trying to, build their resources and take it, kind of patiently. You don't want to exactly throw yourself in the zone, but, if you don't take it fast enough, the game is just going to end. So we only have a little bit left on the timer here. It doesn't look like anything is going to stop Ocean 7.
Fantastic job there. They managed to swing that just in time to take everything back through. This is really unfortunate for Heaven's Reflection, but very well fought. These teams are pretty evenly matched. I'd love to see them connect and get some scrims going sometime.
Oh, 100%. That's what it's all about, really.
Right. I mean, if you aren't playing in a tournament and then having close games or losses against a team and then DMing them later to try to do scrims, I don't think you're doing tournaments right.
Yeah. It's just such a huge thing to get that consistent practice. So definitely something to look out for.
Absolutely. And I mean, hopefully they'll do well in the rest of the pools, I'm sure we'll see these teams later in bracket, if not on stream, then just in the brackets. So if you aren't watching brackets, then you also aren't doing tournaments right.
Exactly. Always show up for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be the first set done with a, really, really close there. We're looking forward to more of that later.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. There's a few teams I've been watching in the pools. I'm kind of hoping we get to see on stream. Now, that's not the call I get to make, but our TOs behind the scene, maybe I trust them to give us something really interesting to look at.
Yeah. But up next, we are going to see Inkvaders versus Biden Blasters.
I do believe we've been commanded by Shads to cheer for Inkvaders. I think that we have to do that legally. But
I feel like there's a gun against my head. I don't think I can. But Biden Blasters is a pretty good name there.
It's pretty incredible. Now I'm wondering now too if they have like a picture of Biden holding a blaster as their logo. I'm looking it up right now. Oh, they do. They do have a picture of Biden. He's got his hand out. He's looking to push the camera away. Probably because he's hiding a blaster.
Yeah. Looking at the brackets here, trying to see if there's anything super, super interesting here. Let's see.
I'm looking for QuantMum. I don't know about you, but I've got my eyes on QuantMum tonight.
Let's see. Super Greasy Full Send. That's another banger of a name.
There's so many good names tonight. Oh, there was another one I was looking at. Yeah, QuantMum does look like they are going to Over Duck Horizon, which is always good to see. 1111 Make a Wish, I know, is just a newly rebranded team. I've seen them around on Twitter a little bit, so.
Right now, Twitter.com is up 2-0 against Aaron, Earn, and Earn.
It's gonna be awful to say.
Definitely, if that one gets on stream, definitely shortening that one.
Yeah, maybe
Nice,
just the Aaron.
nice try, but I respect it.
No tongue twisters on cast tonight, but a Dripspicable Me going 3 over Divine Downpour. Obviously, the best name here tonight. No competition.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of Aaron and Earn.
Dripspicable Me though. Can you really beat the minions?
Well, we'll go with an even. I'll say we're evenly matched there.
All right, sounds good.
CATBOYS that's a classic.
Oh, of course. And how can you not like CATBOYS?
Yeah. Half of the fun of these weeklies is just seeing the absolutely ridiculous names that people come up with for their obligatory pickups.
Right? My partner actually played in a tournament last weekend and played as Pepperoni Bed. So, you know.
Awesome.
It's probably fine.
I like Inca Cola as well.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I've had a few really good pickup names in my past as well. Like I went to a LAN once using the pickup name Resting Beach Face.
That's good. I appreciate that.
Right. You got to get the puns in there, right?
It's if you're not doing a pun or if you're not doing something at least silly, like what are you doing? You have to. You have to.
It's Splatoon. What are we even doing here?
half the fun of a pickup is deciding what are we gonna do our name? How ridiculous is it gonna be on a scale of 1 to 10? And if it's not 10, you're doing it wrong.
Absolutely. And I've had some teams where they're like, oh yeah, we gotta name ourselves something serious and cool, like Starlight or something. And I'm like, or Vengeance. And I'm like, we're not playing Apex.
You're playing the colorful Squid Game.
Yeah, I don't know if I can take myself seriously playing a colorful Squid Game with my team name Vengeance.
Yeah. Looks like Biden Blasters, who we are going to be following next, is 1-1 in their set. That's interesting. It means that they're, having some close games there.
Yeah, which you love to see, right?
I'm trying to see where Inkvaders is.
Also in Group E. They just went 3-0 with 501st, which is a name. That's a very good question. I'm looking at their roster now. I recognize some players here. We have Tetra Ali from Data, as well as Henry from Tempest. Yeah, and Crimson Shadows, who I don't believe is on a team right now, but plays around.
Yeah. Always good to see familiar faces, even if they are part of ridiculous pickups.
Like 501st, which apparently is a Star Wars reference, which I would not have gotten.
Yeah, I thought it was just a method to try to get the longest name and the fewest characters.
I mean, 501st is pretty obnoxious to say, so I think they're hoping they'll be on stream, and we like to say that quite a bit.
I don't even know what you could short that to. I'm drawing a blank there.
Yeah, I mean, even 501 isn't that much faster, so you can't even do that.
That's about the same.
5? I'll just call them Star Wars, it's fine.
Then people get confused because if they don't know the reference.
Oh, true.
It's quite a dilemma we have here. We have a very, very difficult job.
I got it. So what I'll do is I'll say Star Wars. The team that's named 501st, which is a Star Wars reference. And I'll say that every time I go to talk about their team.
Yes, that'll do.
Yeah, it fixes everything, I think.
No issues there.
Absolutely none.
Looks like our next match is ready, though. All the players are in, and we're starting the final countdown. So,
yeah, moving into TC on Inkblot Art Academy. Not one of my favorites in this game. It feels like it was more prevalent in Splatoon 2.
Yeah, I think it's one of those stages where people liked it enough in Splatoon 2 that they don't really think about it that much in Splatoon 3, and just like, oh yeah, that's a good stage. Not necessarily thinking of how it plays in a game that does have a pretty different meta.
Yeah, or it could even be that, like, it was pretty popular in Splatoon 2, but Splatoon 2 by endgame had a fairly limited map list, so it could just be that we have better tower control stages in this game that people are more familiar with and play more frequently.
Yeah, something like that. Just like familiarity is always going to be, it's going to be a more comfortable thing, you know, if you've been playing something for like a map for 5 years, you're going to be much more comfortable with it than one you've been playing for, what, 6 months now?
Yeah, something like that.
Especially as we've been trying to figure out what the good maps and modes are. So just like rotating through and figuring, like, crossing some out.
What's your controversial map pick? If you had to pick one map mode in the game that you thought is really good but everyone seems to hate.
That's a good one. I definitely do have an opinion, but I can't quite think of it right now.
Mine's Mahi Clams, if that helps.
I'm not a fan of that one. I'm trying to think. I like Undertow Rainmaker a lot. A lot of people don't say it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is definitely Mahi Clams. I think Mahi Clams, not only is Clams the best mode on Mahi, I think it's one of the better Clams maps in the game.
See, I'm a backline player, so I really enjoy I like going in solo queue and just dominating 100% on Mahi zones. That's my that's my guilty pleasure.
Of course. What kind of backline are we talking? Are we talking like Charger? Are we talking like Hydra?
I love myself a Hydra and I love myself a Tri-Stringer.
Alright.
It's kind of definitely, you know, Otter, not necessarily the E-leader that's like you always see right now, but just I think they have their advantages.
Understandable. Yeah.
I mean them, Your Honor.
I'll allow it. This once.
Only this once, though.
Yeah. Next time, I'll reconsider, but this once.
These other maps too. Rainmaker Mako was one that was really popular in 2, but I've seen it kind of fall off in popularity in 3.
I feel like it was liked in 2, but not played in 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It didn't show up in map lists very often, and now, we see it a little bit more in map lists now, but I think everyone has kind of forgotten how busted Mist was on this map.
Oh god.
So, I feel like once everyone remembers how good Mist is, we'll stop playing Rainmaker Mako again.
I think of, like, even the weapons have Mist. I know, like, Tri-Stringer, and I'm drawing a blank on the other one just because, like, none of them are played. Tri-Slosher, that's the only one I can think of.
Yeah. Which, I mean, is also a good weapon for Mako, so...
That's true. Yeah. Unfortunately, Tri just kind of got deleted by its kit here, seeing a sub that isn't favored with a special that isn't favored.
It's okay. Next season we'll get a few more kits and hopefully they'll put... if my teammates are to be believed, we'll get some more Mist and we'll get some more Rain.
Yeah. Hoping and praying. Well, maybe not, but... Hoping and praying that we get new kits.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. Yeah.
I don't know how long I can survive seeing the same 3 kits around.
Well, yes. That is a bit of a problem right now.
Oy.
But you're doing your part by playing Hydra, so it's all good.
I'm doing my part by being quirky.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. You're my least favorite weapon to fight, but thank you.
Oh, well, see, that makes me want to play even more now.
Yeah. I play Junior, so I'm always like, oh, a Hydra, I'm gonna throw a bomb at it. Right when its fire ends. Right now. Nope. Right now. Nope.
Never
right
ends.
Now. It just never ends. And then I pop out to throw my bomb and I instantly perish. And it's like, okay, well, guess I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah. At least with an E-leader, you can play red light, green light.
Exactly.
But a Hydra, it's like one of those intersections that takes forever, and you're just paranoid the entire time.
It's literally like when they open up a fire hydrant to let some water pressure out, and it just keeps going forever, and you're like, okay, but like, is this gonna stop eventually, or?
It was only recently that I actually like not like about a year ago that I realized the Hydra was based on a hydrant.
Really?
Which made me feel a little bit silly, but well, I know now.
It's okay. I have had some teammates in the past who didn't realize that some maps were puns until like 7 years into the game, so it's fine.
Oh, this is a comp.
I'm liking the looks of it. A Sea Junior coming out on the other side as well. I love Sea Junior on this map.
no crabs on the side of Biden blasters here, which is something you don't see too often. But actually, we don't see any crabs in this game at all. I didn't realize.
No crabs at all, so that's a bit of a treat for us. Chat, cherish this moment for as long as you can. We're already kind of getting into things. Inkvaders, who were supposed to cheer for, is already getting some pretty good control of mid. One player down on each team is going to turn this into a bit of a stalemate before tower can push.
Just kind of scrapping, seeing who can get the picks. This 52 is going to use their wall to try to stay safe while doing it, but all the players are back up. It's still just a big Solomon. The Wavebreaker comes out, the Killer Whale comes out, but doesn't really gain anything as they just keep on trading players.
Yeah, it's putting them into a little bit of a weird position, but while still trading players, Inkvaders seems to be getting a bit of the upper hand. 2 down on the side of Biden Blasters puts them at a little bit more control of mid, and hopefully we'll get this tower moving a little bit towards that first checkpoint.
Yeah, they're definitely, especially with those tri-strikes coming out, ensuring that the plot is going to be a bit more uncomfortable to persistent for a little bit longer, that they are going to get that first checkpoint with no contest on the tower yet. But it looks like Biden Blasters is going to get a few picks here, is going to stop the tower, at least for just a minute, before they jump out.
Beautiful jump out, avoiding that wave just in time to not go down. And our sloshing machine over here doing beautiful work on this plat, dancing around some specials and getting some picks. 2 down on Inkvaders as they break that second checkpoint and putting them in a really good position here to, at least try and hold this lead for the rest of the game.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty solid lead, and if they do want to push again, they don't have that checkpoint to worry about, so they could get even further if they wanted to. But it looks like Biden Blasters are starting to take mid again. The Zipcaster is going to come out and try to get this E-leader out of there, but they don't quite find anything before they are recalled, and it looks like they're going to get flanked here.
Yeah, very interesting. What I'm seeing right now on both these teams is they have a lot of specials and weapons to help push tower, but not a lot of specials and weapons to help stop tower. So it's putting them in a strange position where they have to kind of hold that aggression constantly for fear of losing it. 2 down on Inkvaders is putting us in that position right now, but a beautiful flank coming in is going to stop that tower before we can get moving.
With 3 players down, this does look like their green light to start pushing. The E-leader is up, but they weren't in a position to contest the tower, and they do look like they're going to get to the first checkpoint, but it doesn't look like they aren't going to be able to get it for a few more seconds. Yeah,
A great pick there from Shads, and 2 down now from Biden Blasters is putting Inkvaders back in control of mid. If they can kind of hold this contention for a little bit longer, at least try and stall some time where Biden Blasters isn't pushing, we'll put them in a really good position for later in the game.
Yeah. And we do see, specials starting to come out. The Zipcaster comes out once again, just trying to get that leader, probably not really able to find it before it gets picked off itself. And we do see 2 down on the side of Biden Blasters again, and Inkvaders is looking like they're in a pretty good spot just consistently here.
They're really just doing a great job of scrapping and not letting Biden Blasters get too far away with this beautiful picks there from Marzel, and already might be keeping this going. Gonna go down to some beautiful team play here from Biden Blasters, but Biden Blasters still isn't really in a position to get moving too far.
Yeah, it looks like they're just kind of struggling to... They're not struggling to get the control, but they're just not maintaining it in an effective way. They are going to be trying to poke that leader here, but the leader is going to stop them from moving on the left side of the stage for them. And they're just trying to get anything that they can right now.
Yeah, it looks like Métis over here is a little bit too scared to move up, watching for that flank that keeps coming in, which I don't blame them. It's a pretty challenging one to deal with. But the rest of the team moving up without them means that they're going to have to do a little bit of catch-up here on that step. Does get a beautiful pick, and 2 down on Inkvaders is turning this into a kind of nice push. That first checkpoint falling pretty quickly.
That 52 was going to try to push the bats, but ended up backing out. Their teammate does follow up on it, though, with the Stamper, just trying to, once again, be as annoying as they can with that Zipcaster. Does get the pick on the leader, what they've been looking for all game, and they do get the checkpoint there. It's looking really close for them, but they are going to be kind of pushed out here. It's 3 down on the side of Inkvaders, and it looks like it's really, really scary there for them.
Just like that, we're in a dangerous position here. Biden Blaster's still pushing, full control of bats, already has the lead, and just continuing to go forward. 15 seconds left on the clock. Inkvaders just trying desperately to get this tower back because they have to. They have to grab this and have to get moving, and all that's left is the leader, which is gonna mean, unless the leader can pull off something massive, this is game for Biden Blasters.
Yeah, and that's there it is. That's official. They did take game 1. What a comeback from them. It looked like they were struggling all game, but something just kind of clicked for them and they were able to get that lead, and a lead and some change there. So it's exciting to see how they were able to flip that around.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job of that, and it happened surprisingly quickly. It felt like they were just hovering in mid and scrapping, and then all of a sudden we were at second checkpoint. So, good job.
Yeah, no, that's just amazing how fast they were able to turn around here. But we're gonna see if they play any different here on Rainmaker and Mako Mart. And we were talking a little bit about this stage earlier, but I want to hear a little bit more of your thoughts on it.
It's rough, and I think whether or not, or how these teams go on this map depends on whether or not they bring back that A leader or if they bring out something else. Snipers can be incredibly powerful on Mako Mart in general, but you have to be a very good sniper, and to put up with pressure from things like machines on this map is incredibly difficult. So I think if we see a bit of a switch around there, maybe a composition that can get a bit more paint as well. If they can stall out, Inkvaders at least, if they can stall out like they did in that first game, then this shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it's an interesting stage in general. I don't have too many thoughts on it. I'm just like I haven't played it all that much. I haven't seen it in mapless. I haven't seen it in a mapless in a hot minute. Even though it is a bit more played here, so
yeah,
we'll see if these players are in the same boat as me and just kind of don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's one of those maps. Because on zones here, you can kind of post up with those longer range weapons and things like Crab and do a really good job of holding people back into their spawn. But in a mode like Rainmaker or on clams that requires a lot more movement, you tend to want fairly aggro compositions that can put out quite a bit of paint. Because the map is so small, you can flip the entire map incredibly quickly if you have the right tools.
And if you're, like you're saying, a sniper that doesn't know how to deal with the pressure and you just get instantly picked up because you didn't know when exactly to back up, that can be weird. So we're going to see if they're going to stick to their guns with running that leader there, if they're going to offer something else. But it looks like Biden Blaster's more aggressive comp might be favored here. If they
just if they keep that, if they keep that running, I'm kind of favoring Biden Blasters, but it really just depends on Shads and that U leader. If they know what they're doing and they know how to pull through on this map, then they should be okay. But if they don't, then they could prove to be a bit of a weak point for their team.
I would say I'm favoring Biden Blasters, but I do have a gun against my head telling me to root for Inkvaders.
That's true. Sorry, I forgot. Yes, Inkvaders is going to win this 100% because we were told it was scripted.
What do you mean scripted? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, we're getting right into it. We do see Biden Blasters sticking with their guns there, quite literally. I believe similar or same exact comp, much more aggressive than we see on the side of Inkvaders.
We do see the V Junior coming out instead of the C Junior, which I'm not entirely fond of. Actually going in there very quickly and going down a little bit early to the more aggressive comp from Biden Blasters. But, I mean, one down on either side, we're kind of seeing that same scrap we saw in the first game.
We do see 2 go down on Biden Blasters, and Inkvaders goes ahead and picks it up. They're already running and already looking like they might get the checkpoint because there's nobody over there to contest it, and that is that first checkpoint already gone less than a minute in, about 45 seconds actually.
Yeah, not too bad. Already on the 420 mark and the first checkpoint down, 2 down on their team and managing to jump out. That's kind of what we wanted to see. Astral here picking it up so the team can't just grab it and go, giving Shads a little bit more time to set up on the defense.
Yeah, if they had gone down there, it'd be a little bit of a different story because they wouldn't be able to set up fast. But, we might see them. They're already on their preferred post there and already having a massive control over mid, meaning that Biden Blasters are going to have a much more hard time of getting back out of their spawn and, getting back on their feet here.
Yeah, here really is the strong point of the E-Leader. It can cover pretty much half the map from a very protected position. But the 52 here trying to get some cheeky fall off and not quite able to get it. And the Rainmaker going down to some beautiful shots from that leader.
They were playing with fire there, messing with that leader, and ended up going down to the wave breaker. And now they were 3 down. It's only that that bucket there who ends up going down. So now the map is almost entirely in Inkvaders' hands yet again, and they do look like they're going to try to go left there, but there are quite a few players over there and somebody on the right side too to pressure, so it doesn't look like Biden Blasters are going down just yet.
Yeah, this is a moment where Inkvaders really just needs to stall a little bit more in mid, maybe pull this into an inconvenient place like this far left we see the Rainmaker moving into. This is a really rough place for Biden Blasters to try to move into. It's a pretty nice place to try to defend from.
Yeah. The Rainmaker was just alone there, so they got picked off, and now it looks like this bucket is doing work with their amazing fall-off shots and getting a few picks around here. It's going to go up and move far left already as their team, just tries to... They're just sharking here. That's interesting.
Yeah, Eli hiding up on the snipe, gonna try to cause some trouble for this leader, but Shans does know that they're there. And while they do get Shans, they go down pretty quickly to the sloshing machine. It's gonna put Vine Blasters in a bit of a strange position. One special out is gonna occupy their team, while the other cannot pick up Rainmaker just yet, or they'll be sitting geese.
They did have the man advantage there for a second, but now it is on the side of Inkvaders again as the mid area is just kind of starting to be taken over yet again. Tri-Strike user unfortunately was unprotected and goes down. The 52 goes down. Looks like a pretty bad situation for Biden Blasters yet again, especially with that crab on the stack that is going to be able to put out so much pressure on that side.
Esther here picking up the Rainmaker, doing it just in time for Shaz to come in and give them cover. They may be able to get a few more points here if they can swing around all of these firing shots. Sneaking a few points in just a 34 is a pretty good place to be sitting, especially with a minute and 45 left in the game. But only Shaz left up means they're going solidly back on defense, and they have to do it quickly.
And now Biden Blasters doesn't just have to get that checkpoint and, pick it up like once more. They do have to go the extra mile there and get, 10 or so extra points, which can be the difference if you're ever like forced into overtime there. So we're gonna see if they are able to take it back, as they are starting to get pretty close to the checkpoint there, but before going down.
Yeah, they've left the Rainmaker here in a pretty nice position, honestly. I actually might not have popped that for a while, but it does look like they have a player in behind them, making this a little bit more precarious of a situation. 0KA here trying to sneak up and get some cheeky picks from behind.
Everything is flipped upside down. Just Biden Blasters is all on the back end. And I for a second there I got confused, thinking that it was suddenly defense for Biden Blasters, but no, they are still on offense. They are still being incredibly annoying up in that bats with that wall, completely denying it. And they do get checkpoint, meaning they're in a pretty good spot here. They only have to get it a few more points. They almost get it, very close, and it's only Eli there who does go down. With only 30 seconds on the clock, it does not look good for them.
Yeah, so close here. This is the kind of point at which I would just kind of hold Rainmaker in a hard-to-get spot and paint the map very heavily. They needed quite a bit of control here, but as we saw, the map flipped so fast when you have a junior and a splash on your team.
Yeah, Biden Blasters are going to get really desperate here to get that Rainmaker and get map control. And they do get the Rainmaker. 2 of them do go down, though. 3 of them, it's only the Stamper left to get it. And with, all of the members of Inkvaders just putting pressure on that Rainmaker, it does not look like the game is going to go in their favor. And Inkvaders, who we, of course, support 100%, I'm not being pressured, does take game 2.
Listen, y'all, it was in my contract. There's nothing I can do about it. Inkvaders is the best team that I am obligated to cheer for.
Yes.
Yes.
I am, this is organic. This is not forced. Yeah. I am being 100% genuine. I am not neutral at all. I am very partial. I'm not impartial here.
Absolutely. And I mean, 1 game for each team means game 3 is going to be a little bit more exciting. We've seen some very commanding presence from both teams. If Shads comes back to that leader and plays it on Clam's Brine Water the same way that they played it on Rainmaker Mako, this could be difficult for Biden Blasters.
E-Leader is a very, very dominant weapon here. You can control all of mid from your wall, and it's not too easy to, if your only approach options for that E-Leader are basically through mid, you're not going to have an easy time getting to it, and so it's just a very powerful weapon on this map mode here, even if, on Clam, sometimes you do want something a bit more fast-moving.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll have to see what they pick, right? If Biden Blasters makes a few changes to their composition, really just needs to focus their specials, I think, on that E-Leader. If they put all their specials on that E-Leader and essentially make them not able to play the game, this could be a very easy match for them.
Yeah. Unfortunately for us backline mains, the most effective way to deal with us is just making it impossible to move and think because you have 2 billion things on you. But it's all good because, if your teammates are there to where you, keep the control and make sure that, the enemy team isn't staying alive long enough to get those specials out of pester you, it can be a great thing.
As an avid lover and propagator of the Double Bomb Junior, I am very familiar and loving of the technique of just throwing bombs constantly at backlines. So I just think that we should always be doing that.
This is why in my dreams I think of a full pure set of bomb defense up.
My teammates have actually been running that against burst bombs lately. It's pretty awful.
That's something. That's something else.
Right.
Ooh.
Interesting.
That's not something you see every day. We see a Forge Pro coming out from Biden Blasters here, opting for, I guess, that Booyah Bomb without having to play Machine, going for something a bit more comfortable to play sometimes, but getting some weaknesses too as Pro is just a middling weapon in almost everything.
Yeah, and Eli out here on the C Junior, kind of the opposite I would have chosen. There's a lot of flat ground on this map, so the Wavebreaker gets a lot of utility, but against an E leader and a team that's been utilizing that E leader very strongly, I think I would have preferred the bubble.
Yeah, especially, if you can hold that spot near their basket really well.
Yeah.
But already we see what we've seen a lot, where it's just for the first 36 seconds, these teams are just kind of trading kills, just big scrap fest in mid, just trying to get their specials and play it right. But we do see, there's just the ink. It's painted purple, and they are moving up. They do have the specials, and it looks like they might get the control pretty early on here.
Yeah, Inkvaders already taking control of this bottom lip on the enemy side and picking up the clams to help kind of push this around. There's a bit of a juggling happening. Not quite sure who's going to be picking these up, but we are going to get the first open on Inkvaders.
Yeah, and it looks like they have some clams. They already get it down to 65. They do have 2 members down. That's going to be a full wipe, meaning their push is 100% done at 65. And Biden Blasters is going to have a great opportunity to get a counter push here, as they are already in the perfect spot for it.
They truly are. The members coming in from Inkvaders a little bit slowly, trying to be careful, not sure who's hiding under which ledges. They do manage to get 2 down here already. A full wipeout as I blinked, and moving back into mid just as, Biden Blasters barely takes the lead.
Am I seeing double, or did the exact same thing just happen twice?
Pretty much.
Biden Blasters just managed to get 1 more clam in here, but the lead is already going to be pretty much gone if they can get 1 more clam in. But okay, there they go. They finally start getting the clams in, but that's going to be all their pushes, as their special is currently trapped in a crab and does get picked off. And once again, they're just flipping control. It's all or nothing, it seems here.
Yeah, Shaz manages here to get into a pretty good position fairly early this time, shoring up their defense and making it so Biden Blasters can't just instantly push back in. So it looks like we might have a bit of a slowdown here, and not just an instant trade back and forth.
Yeah, it looks like we're finally done with that, at least for now. We do see some balls being made on the side of Biden Blasters, but they don't quite have control to do anything with it, and that mark is going to be not great when you're fighting a talented E-leader player. So, but they're just kind of trying to hold their ramp as Inkvaders are moving in. The machine gets canceled, but there's so many specials on Inkvaders' side that they are going to be able to hold this very well.
Yeah, this is a position where Biden Blasters is using their specials just trying to get back to mid, and Inkvaders is using them to contain and sustain mid. It's a pretty good back and forth over here, with the brush getting a nice pick, and 3 down on Biden Blasters means this might actually be a push for Inkvaders.
Yeah. They're gonna be, trying to further that lead, because it's never over until it's over, and so you just want to always be getting the max they can. Especially if if you're getting the score in the basket, you're gonna be in a spot where you are gonna be basically containing them, and also taking your points along the way. So if you can get it as far as you can, just hold it as long as you can. It's a great spot to be in, especially when you're already down to 14 points.
Yeah, and Shad's jumping out yet again, getting that defense ready. They know the rest of their team is in mid and trying to hold things down a little bit, or on respawn. So if they can get back in and get some sneaky picks before Biden Blasters gets too many points and too much control, then this shouldn't be too bad for them on the defense.
Oh yeah, 100%. But it looks like Biden Blasters, they're starting to move in. They don't have any specials left to further their push right now, especially with that crab coming out. It looks like they are going to be struggling to take this with 2 going down, meaning their push is going to fizzle out. And then they only have a minute left to score, 70 some odd points, which is definitely a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, Métis over here deciding to try to take the fight instead of jumping out, which unfortunately puts them on a little bit of a stagger from the rest of the team, and he's going to have to make things wait a little bit longer to get going. Really, they just need some control and some picks, but Shads is making that very difficult to do.
Yeah, you know, and they also have Inkvaders has the clam economy in their favor. They have a lot of clams. You know, they made a power clam even this late into the game, and they just have mid is painted full blue. Shad's getting picked left and right, as you know an e-leader does on this map, and they have the specials to just contain Biden blasters into their spawn and make it so where they have no hope of getting out in the last 15 seconds that they need to get the lead back here. But it looks like Inkvaders has the clams to get a KO, and we're gonna see that there as Inkvaders takes the 2-1 victory against Biden Blasters.
It really was just down to the clock there. Like, are we gonna wait out the timer and just win by being in the lead, or are we gonna knock this out?
Yeah.
We know which one they chose, but
yeah, I mean, if you have the resources for it and you're confident that it's not gonna, come back to bite you, it's a play you can make.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so that was a really, really good display of just total control from Inkvaders in that game.
I do have a complaint.
Oh yeah?
Biden Blasters, despite their name, didn't have a single blaster.
That's disappointing. Another reason, aside from contractual obligations, that we should have rooted for Inkvaders there.
Honestly.
So, yeah. But
I mean, it's just like when you run into players in League, or I guess Open, and their name is like 52 Gal and they're playing an NZAP, and it's like, okay, but are you though? Like, you can't just do this to me. This is false advertising.
My humble origin stories was I was a brushman, and right as I was splitting, starting to experiment with Splatlings, I changed my Switch name to Brushmain while I was playing the Splatlings, and so I like to think that caused a little bit of chaos in the Splatoon 2 A rank lobbies back in the day. So
yeah, and I mean, to be honest, in Splatoon 2, every once in a while, I would just pick up a blaster. I've even done it in this game sometimes. You get playing Open, you get bored, you pick up a blaster, and you're like, let's go. I can't believe that not a single person in this lobby picked up a blaster, despite the fact that they were named blasters.
Which is so unfortunate.
It's cheating. I think it's cheating.
Looks like my favorite team, Earn, is up 2-0 against Smile, which is fantastic. I love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few other teams here. I'm not sure what Borger's full team name is. I'm kind of hoping it's just Borger ... I'm like really hoping that's their actual full name.
I think that would be it.
Yeah, it is. It actually is just Borger ...
Thank
Fantastic.
God. It looks like our next team is ready here. Real fast. Breakneck speed here. It's gonna be Ikaryoku, I believe that's how you say it, versus Orca Ballestra.
Interesting names.
I know these are both established teams, if I am correct. So we're gonna see how these two established teams duke it out, versus the pickups that we've been seeing.
Oh, I'm not familiar with either of these teams, but I have seen the members of Orca Ballestra in Open before. So
yeah. I know. I believe Femi plays Hydra, which is always something that I love to see.
Of course. I think you're biased, though.
Not biased at all. Never. I would never be biased. Not ever. Not even once. I don't have an incredibly strong solidarity for the other players who decide to go through the torture of playing Hydra.
So next you're going to tell me that you're definitely not a fan of players like Devi or Popgun.
Never even heard of them. Actually, I've never heard of them in my life.
Yeah, Popgun who? Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
That sounds like that's a weird name. I don't think that guy does anything.
Sounds about right. Especially not with this organization.
Yeah, never. Of course not.
It definitely isn't in chat right now.
Who?
Exactly.
Anyways, we are able to see the maps here right now, and as we were talking about Hydra Splatling, here's a map that Hydra Splatling I believe does pretty well on Splat Zone's Museum.
Oh. I don't think I've ever actually played against a Hydra on Museum. What makes you like it here?
Of course, it's just even though it is outclassed by E-liter, but it is able to just take advantage of the really long sight lines and is able to put a lot of pressure on a lot of different areas at once and use the Booyah Bomb to help your teammates get into flat, which is something that is a little bit difficult on this mode of Museum versus all the other ones because there isn't that little box or the ramp up on the right side to help you. You just kind of have to deal with it.
I'm sure it's also really good when you're using it against things like crabs, right? The Booyah giving you extra pressure and Hydra being able to shred things so quickly.
And the Booyah allowing you to move the enemy E-liters that are sure to happen because, you know, what else? It's also great to move the enemy E-liters out of the way, at least momentarily.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
In theory.
Well, I've never played against a Hydra here yet, and I hope to never play against a Hydra ever on this map. Thank you for your information. Oh, there's our blaster.
Really, really interesting comps here from both sides. We do see, like I said, the Hydra from Femi there on Orca Ballestra, but we see a Nautilus and a range blaster on the side of Ikaryoku, which is something that you don't see every day.
Yeah, definitely not. I kind of love it though. I'm definitely here for the blaster that we didn't get to see last game. It looks like Ika already a little bit up, trading and getting a few picks here. Unfortunately, going to go down to the members of Orca who are just trying to cap this zone from the looks of it.
Yeah, if that range was able to get the drop on that Hydra, or like the sneaky play on the Hydra, it could have been 100% different, but if they see you, it's over. But the range is so good at poking those backlines at some points. And it looks like Orca Blusher is already on their plat, like really, really dominant, getting all the members except for the Hydra up there pretty much, and 3 down, looking very, very dominant so far. It's not going to be easy to break out of this hold.
Yeah, all we really need is a player watching that left drop, and Femi up on top mid is able to paint it just sitting there without even really looking. Otherwise, the members of Ika are just going to have to move straight in against all of this pressure in their spinner. Just not an easy task.
They are going to look, it looks like they are starting to back out as the members of Ikaryoku start to get back up, and the range here is going to be trying to drop from the left, it looks like, but they still do have some control. The T-Tech was up there, and now that Crab is going to be putting an immense amount of pressure combined with the Hydra, making it super hard to get in. We're already here in the last like 5 seconds or so of the game, unless Ikaryoku can take a really last second cap here.
Mirai doing a beautiful job getting 2 picks here while this map does swing in their favor. They managed to get the cap just in time. Not quite able to sneak past that Hydra and does get away with their life very luckily. But they need to move that Hydra out of the way if they're going to have any chance of holding this.
Hydra in kind of an awkward spot here, and they do go down. Looks like Orca Ballestra is 2 down now, and they are going to be starting to think about trying to push on the plat, you know, with the control that they were able to get from that. But the Crab coming out from Orca Ballestra very well timed and going to ensure that they are going to continue mid if they didn't go down.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that Crab was just a little bit too early, but now we have a Nautilus versus a Hydra who can paint the map faster. Hydra, unfortunately, not quite able to get the angle they want to cap that zone, is going to get their Booyah off and try to trap a few members of Orca over here on this left-hand side.
But how it was looking bad for Ikaryoku, it's now starting to look a little bit bad for Orca Ballestra. Well, the hold that they have isn't quite as strong. They were able to get it down to 28 points, and if they can, you know, scrap it out here and take the control back, they'd be able to get it even further. But it looks like they are going to be back and have that, and Orca Ballestra is going to start chewing through their 70-point penalty.
God, quite a massive penalty to have to work through. It looks like Ikaryoku is maybe, going to be able to take this zone back and push all of the members of Orca either out or into terrible positions. But really what this is going to come down to is keeping that flat. They need to get up there and establish a control.
Range Blaster doing what the Range Blaster does best and going at odd angles to take out that backline. You know, their Range Blaster is able to poke the plat really, really well here from underneath it, just able to get the angles, and is going to take out the Hydra a second time there. Wow.
Absolutely beautiful job keeping the Hydra feeling a little bit oppressed and out of that zone, but they are going to lose it. Orca getting that beautiful cap and applying almost a 50-point penalty to Ika.
The era of these teams getting that really dominant hold for so long is over, and now they're just kind of scrapping it out over and over again. It looks like Orca Ballestra is gonna take is gonna have the control right now, but it could change at any moment, really.
For sure. We're seeing some specials come out a little bit staggered there on the left-hand side, maybe just trying to survive and not quite managing it. Crab coming out to apply some strong pressure to all of the rest of these players who are just trying to hide and spinner, and is going to keep them pretty well locked down as they tick down through that penalty.
Yeah, they're getting pretty close to the end here. You know, 20 seconds on the 20 points is like about 10 seconds, and you know, with only 10 plus 6 left on the clock, it's looking really bad for Ikaryoku here. As it's getting so close. But it's only the Hydra left, and they are able to paint, but it's only, oh my god, it's just so close here.
They really just need to paint the zone as quickly as possible with only the blaster up in that zone. It's going to make it incredibly difficult if Orca can get that cap and tick through. There's their penalty gun, and that is game.
For a solid 10 seconds there is nothing but chaos as everyone is able to try to paint it, either to win or to not lose. So, that was a close game. We saw some really good play from both sides and some really interesting comps.
Yeah, and some really good examples of why Hydra can be oppressive there in the right positions.
And how the range can do a great job against that Hydra and, catch it off guard and two-shot it in really odd angles. So you're seeing some weird weapons shine, which is always great to see. But right now we're going to move on to Tower Control Sturgeon, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts.
I think they broke it a little bit.
Yeah.
In this game. Yeah, I kind of love that they opened up that when you're pushing the tower, that top right side is a little bit easier to push on the offense, but the map didn't really need help for the attackers. Does that make sense? It was already kind of attacker-sided. It needed a little bit more help on the defense, but now the way the map is kind of set up, if your players get up into that side, it's almost impossible to take it back, and it's a bit too easy to get up into it from an attacking side.
Just from a backline perspective, sometimes it's very hard to hold certain spaces because the enemy team can move in really fast. So it's definitely an interesting map, for sure.
Yeah. It's still pretty good for the rest of it. It's just right around that second checkpoint where things usually get pretty chaotic. I find it's even harder now to defend than it used to be, which was already a little bit difficult. Yeah.
I know I've heard from some people that people think that mid is just kind of hard to exist in the stage, which is something that's interesting because there are a lot of maps in 3 where you just kind of exist in mid for half of it, but this one is maybe different. I'm not quite sure. It's not exactly my expertise.
Existing in mid isn't super difficult. It's more so the taking of mid that I find a little bit harder. You kind of have to have a perfect set of circumstances to get back into mid, and some very good execution to take it back from a team who is dominant in mid. So it's not as big a problem in tower control as it is in, say, zones, but it's still a concern you have to have when trying to retake that tower.
Yeah, 100%. And we're going to see if these teams run anything quirky this time. Looks like Ikaryoku decides to tone it down a little bit in terms of quirkiness, and Orca Ballestra is decided to turn it up with that Squiffer, which is interesting to see too often, but I'm guessing they're opting for that bubble there.
Yeah, definitely an interesting pick, especially if you're trying to opt for that bubble. There are definitely easier weapons to play than Squiffer, but I'm excited to see how Jade operates this and how they managed to run with that Squiffer. A little bit of a bad start here, but we all have bad starts, especially on this map. And Ikaryoku is doing a fantastic job here, just painting and taking control of mid, though I'd love to see them touch that tower.
Yeah, they're just kind of taking their time here. They are going to start riding, and they are going to start pushing here, but the tri-strikes make it to where that crab can't exist. The Booyah Bomb makes it to where they didn't quite land on a impactful area, but they were just throwing everything they had at the tower to try to stall it. And now this T-Tech out here is just going to try to get 2 picks right there.
Sushi doing a fantastic job stalling at that tower, getting a couple picks. If they can get the rest of them here, now 3 down for Ikaryoku. This is a perfect time for Orca Ballestra to be able to paint this map in mid, try to regain that control, and start moving the tower on their own. These teams are a little bit slower to move tower than I am accustomed to, which makes me nervous.
Yeah, we see a little bit of a scrap here going on in Fight Club that ends in a trade. Truly Fight Club earning its name there.
And we love to see it. Just Fight Club. It's not a game on Sturgeon until someone dies in Fight Club.
We don't talk about it though. We are seeing Orca Ballestra take the second, or one of the checkpoints of all time, but they are looking pretty good here. The crab comes out, and they were using that bubble to make sure that they got that checkpoint safely, and they are, you know, their control is still solid here, and I can see them holding it for a bit more time if they play their cards right.
PETA here doing a fantastic job. 3,
wow.
4 down, a full wipe on Ikaryoku, doing the play of the game for sure and allowing their teammates to get back into this dominant position. Jade showing just how hard it can be to approach this right-hand side on defense, and beautiful job here pushing through that second checkpoint.
We finally get to see how the Squiffer is going to operate here, getting one pick earlier and that second pick now, using that bubble to make sure it's going to be even harder to approach it. Oh my god, that was awesome.
Okay, all right then. When you knock that out quickly.
Okay, they had the Squiffer sense there, and used that bubble to just ensure that they got the KO there. And they had a bit of a slow start, but once they got going, they got going.
They really did, and Orca demonstrated perfectly that snowball I was talking about around that second checkpoint, where once a player on attack gets up into that right-hand side, it can be so hard to push onto that tower and stop it from KOing, especially now where it just goes straight instead of going straight and then hooking left a little bit. They perfectly demonstrated a great lockout on that map mode.
Yeah. And the set is going to go to Orca Ballestra, but we are going to see if Ikaryoku can take it back on Rainmaker Scorch Gorge for just a little bit of points there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, any amount of points in games counts when working on things like tiebreakers. So you kind of love to have them, even though it is technically 2-0. So you've already lost the set. The points are still important in bracket.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. But Rainmaker Scorch Gorge, we saw Clam Scorch Gorge earlier, and Rainmaker Scorch Gorge is, you know, it's the same map, but different this time.
Yeah, a worse choke point. It's got an even worse choke point and an even worse checkpoint. So yeah. It's a bit of a rough play.
Just stalling out in mid until you can finally build up enough resources and build up enough control to force your way through that checkpoint. But once you get that checkpoint, it kind of sometimes can turn into smooth sailing from there, but not always.
Yeah, I find this map, while most of the other modes on this map play in mid, most of the fighting on this map happens in those ramps leading up to the checkpoint. You have to spend a lot of time in that section defending it, painting it, trying to push people out of it, and that's the real choke point of the game for both sides. It's hard to attack from and hard to defend from.
Yeah, and it's just such a narrow space. It's going to be kind of awkward to fight in. So it's a stage. It's certainly one of them.
It is a stage, yes.
Like I said, I'm insightful. I'll be here. Well, not all night. I'll be here for the rest of the groups, but thank you.
It works out. Yeah. I mean, yeah. If there's one thing we could say about Scorch Gorge, it is that it is a stage. It is desert based, at least canyon based, which is pretty exciting, and it is starting right now.
That's also true.
Yeah.
And we see Brush and Nautilus, we saw the Nautilus earlier, and Orca Ballestra just wanted to take this with a 3-0 and deciding to turn off the Hydra. And the Hydra player is on Bucket now, and we see Sushi out there on the E-leader.
A very interesting swap, Sushi being our T-Tech player or Splash player, I believe one of the two from last game, definitely switching from aggro to an E-leader in a single set is not recommended, but with a pick like that, they can play whatever they like.
Definitely there. We do see them get picked off, though. Those grates, they give you a great vantage point, but you are so vulnerable to something like a Brush that can swoop in there for just so fast. And we saw the mid go from solidly Orca Ballestra to solidly Ikaryoku as they are going to be moving in and already start to go for that checkpoint here very, very fast.
Jade demonstrating here why I love to play V Junior on this map. The bubble powerful, but the bomb's even more powerful coming around a blind corner like that. Beautiful pick on the Brush as well, and able to get some, hopefully some nice turf here, or we could just drop right into it. That works as well.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and sometimes what you gotta do is drop into turf at the enemy's ink. I don't know. Well, I don't really know where I'm going with that, but we do see the Rainmaker get reset here, and Orca Ballestra is going to come out with a few specials. We see some crab on crab violence here, but looks like Ikaryoku's crab is going to back off, but you know, Orca Ballestra does get canceled first. And it looks like they are just kind of struggling to, once again, get to this checkpoint, trying to get the resources. they do have the brush behind them,
Oh,
but they are
boy.
going to be able to get the checkpoint.
Absolutely fantastic run. That was definitely just hopping on stones across that river, managing to get back through. And I mean, only 2 players left on Orca Ballestra. They're going to have to get ready for that defense because there's no way that Ikaryoku is not going to get a push going right now.
If you're Ikaryoku, you're a little bit annoyed that you weren't able to get them while they were just hopping around and just desperately going for the checkpoint. But we see Orca Ballestra, the Rainmaker gets taken down, but they do get a trade on the leader, which is going to controlling different. And well, that's something that can happen.
That is a disconnect, and I do believe we're still within range to do a replay.
Generally, yeah, it's below 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and also the points have not been pushed far enough, so we are going to see a replay here, I believe, as these teams are solidly stopping fighting and trying to take a drip pick.
I was a little bit worried there. I saw that crab just sitting there doing nothing, and I was like, oh no. that's dangerous. But yeah, I mean, judging from what we've seen from this first fight, Ikaryoku is definitely looking a little bit more dominant. They had a lot more firepower to move with, but I think that DC practice round is putting Orca in a good position. Now they know kind of what to expect, how quickly Ika is going to plan to move, and I think they're going to be pulling through a little bit more strongly on the defense in this next one.
Yeah, but on the other hand, Ikaryoku is also going to know what to expect. They're going to know to expect the bucket and the E-leader and, have more of a solid plan on how to work around that. And we might even see a even stronger domination from them. So,
That's a good point. But if I know to expect, that you know to expect, that I know to expect, who comes out on top?
You can't do this to me right now. I'm sorry. I'm gonna ignore the fact that you said that and focus instead on the game that is restarting right now.
Yeah, that's probably a good choice.
You're gonna give me a migraine here. Not ideal. Deliberate sabotage. And we're gonna see them get right back into it. Same comps as per the rules. So we're gonna see how this first mid-fight goes now that the teams know what to expect.
We see Orca Ballestra now in the orange, which is definitely not going to confuse me, coming out with a very quick pick and a very quick attempt at domination of mid here. Gonna have to back up as this crab comes in on the right-hand side and just completely bullying Sushi.
Looks like Sushi learned from the last time, though, and learned, you're going to have to back up from Greats faster, but unfortunately, they are going to get, completely bullied over here, still living against those two that were pairing up on them, but not for long, as looks like, Ikaryoku already has the first checkpoint with very, very short time. And they're already running it. That is already 22 points here, less than a minute in, and they are already showing that they are not going to let any silliness like happened in the last round go again. They're trying to win before they disconnect again.
And I mean, honestly, that's a valid strat. And pushing to 22, that's nothing to sneeze at. Really, the danger point is that pillow in your own bowl there. And they pushed way past it at that point. Getting all the way to 22 is absolutely dangerous.
Orca Ballestra they have quite the momentum right now. With 3 down, they're all respawning. The E-leader's in a good spot to put a lot of pressure on the path that the Rainmaker's going to take. And it's getting kind of close there. It's 26 points versus 22, and they're still there. They might be able to sustain this push if they play their cards right.
At the very least, they should be able to hold a little bit of pressure here and not fully lose mid. Though 2 down makes me a little bit nervous for their control here in mid. It looks like the rest of the members of Orca had to back all the way up to prepare for a defense.
The poor Sushi got bullied by this Zipcaster that I think got 2 picks. Oh, what the heck? Okay, we're ignoring that. And moving on to just how much control Ikaryoku has right now. They are starting to take back mid, despite the really, really fast, how fast their legs got swept out from under them.
Yeah, it looks like Orca Ballestra popped a few specials, trying to get back control, but it felt like almost they didn't have targets in sight, that they were throwing it to try to get information out of those specials that didn't really pan out because Ikaryoku kind of just sat back and let them do that. They're like, okay, yeah, if you want information, we just won't give it to you, and that's fine. Meaning they get to maintain this control of mid for quite a bit longer. They don't even really have to push the Rainmaker, though. If I were them, I would at least, move it and use it as the weapon that it was intended to be. Or you run into situations like these. That said, the brush is still sharking behind them, and do they know? They have their headphones on, their AirPods are in, they can't hear us.
And Orca Ballestra is going to opt to go for that left route. This does make it, does survive for at least a little bit there. Interesting.
And Joker is back here in mid, getting ready to do it all over again. That crab unsuspecting, unfortunately going to go down. And the E-leader having to back right up all the way yet again to just try to be ready for what happens next.
Para is just wreaking havoc in mid here, making sure nobody feels comfortable because a brush could be right out of the corner at any second. Does force Orca right out of mid, and, you know, Ikaryoku does have it once again.
Looks like Mirai the Splash is trying to rush in and get a few picks. PETA unaware that there's someone behind them, unfortunately getting caught in a 2v1 and gonna go down. A minute and 20 seconds left in this game is kind of putting the pressure on Orca, and I think they're feeling it. They're feeling that pressure to need to get the specials, to need to get the control, to need to get moving. And things are looking a little bit rushed right now.
The E-leader player does pick up the Rainmaker, and it looks like they are going to go for another attempt. The Tri-Strikes come out, but they are getting flanked. We're going to see if the Rainmaker does go down. Unfortunately, they were not able to defend themselves against the rushing Octobrush, who once again wreaking chaos and destruction wherever they go.
Beautiful pick here from Jade, that bomb, able to pick up the Rainmaker and stall a little bit on this right-hand side. There's still 40 seconds left in this game, meaning that this might have to be a two-pronged push. They're going to have to push up, die, and push again. And if they're going to do that, they're going to have to do it soon, or they won't get that chance for that repop, especially the flank coming in behind them.
Looks like Jade is going to try to hold there for the snipe, at least until they get pushed off there, but they are, you know, 2 down. Not a great situation, and they do go down. It's going to be really rough, especially with only that bucket up and not anywhere in sight. They only have 12 seconds to pick up the Rainmaker, and they're going to have to dive for it if they want even a chance of taking this game.
Yeah, unfortunately, 4 seconds left. Rainmaker in the enemy hands and all the way back in spawn means that is going to be game for Ikaryoku. They definitely learned from that first game.
And despite the bittersweet end for Orca Ballestra, they do still take the set 2-1, and, you know, it's still a very good mark on their record for how they're going to be placed in the bracket. So not all is wrong for either team here, as they... Orca Ballestra is happy that they won the 2-1, and I'm guessing Ikaryoku is probably happy that they took that last game.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know about you, but my morale for sure definitely does better if I've at least shaken the one game, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, at least we got one.
At least we weren't totally outmatched. At least we had a chance. At least we weren't just held in our spawn for 3 minutes.
100%.
So let's see how our favorite teams here are doing.
Aaron is up 2-1 over the Grillers, so I'm sure you're quite happy about that.
Huh. And
Twitter.com as well, 2-0 right now over Smile.
CATBOYS, 2-1 over Sanctuary.
Oh, fantastic.
Awesome.
Dripspicable Me, 3-0 over Hydra, let's go.
The Hydra going down, but will it come back up again to fight the minion? I'm not really sure where I'm going with that one, so I'm just going to abandon it while I'm ahead.
That's fine. And it looks like QuantMum also getting 3-0 over Cosmic Cherries.
Inkvaders, who of course we are always in full support of, went 0-3 against Shore Corals, and Biden Blasters, who we saw last set, went 1-2 against 501st.
Oh yeah, Star Wars.
Star Wars, which is a 501st with the reference.
Yeah. It's the Star Wars reference, the 501st, which is a Star Wars reference.
I, of course, am totally familiar with Star Wars. I definitely know what that reference is. Of course. Let's see. I'm trying to... What else do we got here?
Doesn't look like too much more, at least from the names that, you know, pull attention. I'm sure we'll be seeing some of these names and some of these exciting players coming up soon once we move on to bracket. But for now, that is the end for us for rounds, at least. Pools on our side for stream has concluded, and we're going to be taking a little bit of a break while we wait for Top Pet to get ready. But I mean, until then, I guess I'm just going to sit here and like twiddle my thumbs, maybe play some phone games.
Check Twitter.
Even
though it imploded earlier.
Yes, yes. Maybe I'll go back and like rewatch that DLC footage, and I suggest you all do the same. Go watch that DLC footage again. Pause on all those cool screenshots, and we'll see you back soon. When Top Cut's ready.
Yep.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Swim or Sink 98, going into Top Cut. My name is Splatoon Lily, in case you missed us earlier, and I'm joined yet again by the absolutely fantastic Weef. Weef, how's it going?
It's going great. We had some really, really good groups matches, and I'm always excited to go into Top Cut here. We're returning to Ocean 7, who we saw earlier, and they're going to be playing against Twitter.com. So, and then established team versus a silly pickup, and we're going to Clan Blitz on Mako Mart.
That said, a silly pickup made of players who've been around for a while,
yeah.
So definitely nothing to shake your fist at there.
Yep.
Blue, of course, has been playing since I think before I can remember. I feel like Blue's probably been around since Splatoon 1, as well as Baja and Rydia and Spara are all names that we see very frequently in this community. So this is gonna promise to be a good match. At least I hope.
Yeah, definitely. There's it's always interesting seeing maybe players that are a little bit higher skill level when they're in a team that they've been working with for a while, but then you put them in a pickup versus a team that might be a little bit lower level, and then you see some interesting things start to happen with just like general coordination and just that kind of stuff. It's fun to watch. I like watching it. But we're moving into Clan Blitz and Mako Mart. Mako Mart's a map that we've seen, I believe, once before, at least here on stream. So. I
believe we were watching Rainmaker earlier on Mako. So moving into clams, at least, is going to be a little bit more interesting. I think the balance for this one is definitely going to be which team can pull out the faster moving composition, because that tends to be what dominates on this map.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, Ocean 7 ran pretty standard. I remember them running an E-liter, 2 splashes, and I believe a machine. I can't quite remember, but it was something along those lines, and we could see a variety of different things from Twitter.com out there. So we're definitely going to see what they try to opt. They could Ocean 7 could drop the E-liter in terms of something in favor of something that could move a bit more faster, or they might not. It's anyone, we don't know.
Yeah, I know I definitely would if I were them. Leader, while dominant on Mako Mart, can be a little tough to run at clams just because of how fast it moves, but we'll have to see what they feel comfortable on here in a moment.
They do trade out that leader for a splatter scope, and we see a double splash with a stamper and a heavy swelling. Very interesting out there.
Definitely very interesting. At least the regular charger allows them a little bit more mobility, and the VAC, I believe it's VAC, will allow them a little bit more flexibility on pushes as well.
Already we see 2 down from Twitter.com. Ocean 7 moving in and getting picks left and right here. They just need the clams, and they're already kind of set for a push out here. It's very fast. It's less than 30 seconds in, and Ocean 7 gets the first power clam in.
Now, the only problem I'm seeing here is that they have no other clams to follow that up on. On a map like this, it's so back and forth, you don't typically worry too much about it. But as we say, Clan Blitz, the faster you can close it out, the better, especially on a map that's back and forth.
Yeah, unfortunately, they weren't able to follow up there too much. But they do still have mid-control pretty dominant here, so we'll see if they can get another push and maybe push it a little bit farther. Once they are able to collect themselves a bit more. We see a crab tank come out here in a very interesting spot, immediately gets shredded, and this splash, I think, is just fighting for their lives and does go down.
All we have left in mid to try to hold this is the machine. They're gonna have to give up a bit of space as Twitter.com comes in and tries to regain some of this clam control as well as the ground control.
Yeah, so they are, Twitter.com is gonna be moving here, and with that crab, that is going to give a lot of space for Twitter.com to move around until they get shredded by that Booyah Bomb, which is unfortunate for them.
Lively not managing quite to get out of the way. Spara, the other crab tank, also going down as Ocean 7 manages to take back control of mid and a few clams. Not quite enough yet for a push, but definitely enough ground here to try to put a lot of pressure onto Twitter.com.
Yeah, they just seem to be struggling to get their bearings, but Ocean 7 is 2 down here, which does mean there's another opportunity for Twitter.com to push. They're trying to get the stack here, trying to, just get as many picks as they can, get their specials ready. Crab Tank does go out, unfortunately does go down to the machine as they just kind of got ganged up on, and the machine is getting a lot of mileage to getting a double and does go down.
I am squinting a little bit at some of these special plays from Twitter.com. It feels like they're popping specials a little bit early, a little bit without support, and a little bit too quickly. I just popping out some of these, unfortunately, going down very early to some subs and going down to other players' specials. It's not quite what you want to see. They do manage to get an open, though, while I'm saying that, and might be able to get the lead if the splashes can get some clams.
Yeah, or they do get this jump in here, and if they land it, that is going to be lead for them, but that's not exactly a sustained push. And so Ocean 7 is going to get control back pretty fast here if they can manage it and try their best to get a counter push and get that lead back.
2 minutes left in the game. 60 points is not a comfortable lead, especially not on this map. Things are definitely going to be swinging back and forth several more times before we see the end of this. And the way that Ocean 7 has been playing so far, while they are 2 down now, as a whole, they've been playing very solidly and very control heavy here in mid.
Yeah, we see that Stamper going at it in mid, going out with the Zipcaster, but also going down. Not quite able to get the picks that they want, and there are players over here getting cornered by the coordination from Ocean 7 is kind of backing these guys into a corner as they are going to start moving in, start really getting big solidly, and get that clam in.
They do manage to get that claim in and a couple picks down. This Vac is going to do some good work, but I don't know how much they're going to be able to survive this. Beautiful pick. And not only a full football coming in, but a few more clams as well. That's putting them in a much more comfortable position.
This Charger is getting paced left and right, and it looks like we might get one more super clam in. They have the clams possible to get the knockout, and they get it. What a dominant game from Ocean 7.
Absolutely beautiful snowball there coming in from Ocean 7. It really just felt a little bit mistimed. I don't know if the break messed up with them a little bit, or if maybe the way they were playing in pools, they didn't have to fight quite the caliber of someone like Ocean 7, but it felt just like they were all playing a little bit too solo. All of the specials are coming out a bit solo, all of the picks are coming out a bit solo. I'd love to see them just group up a little bit more and play the way I know their experience tells them they can.
Yeah, and that is kind of something you expect out of players who might not have like the experience of just playing together for a really long time like an established team. So we might see them start to get it together as they do go on in this second game. But as it is right now, it does look like Ocean 7 is doing very, very well. But it might change as we go on to a map mode that has quite a bit of controversy around it. Spot Zone's Flounder Heights. I know a lot of people hate it and a lot of people love it, but I'm interested to hear what you have to say about it.
Unfortunately, I'm a thumbs down on this map mode. I know a lot of people love it because its paintable walls provides multiple flankers from pretty much any direction you want. I feel, though, that the high ground is just still a little too oppressive. It makes it very difficult to fight uphill into the enemy team, and being able to watch all those flank routes, we have a lot of tools to help mitigate those dangers. So it's not my favorite map to play, but it's definitely not the worst mode on this map.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I basically agree with that. I just think that any map mode that you are going to be fighting uphill to get out on defense is going to be awkward, just because it's just super difficult. You don't have too many great spots to contest with it, like, safely on this map on defense, which is unfortunate because I think the accessibility of flank routes is something that a lot of maps in this game are sorely missing, and so having them in mid feels super nice, but just like the power dynamics of being just completely zoned out of mid does not feel great, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it is fixable. I think it works, but it's definitely not my favorite.
Yeah. What is your favorite on this map?
My favorite mode on this map? Or,
yeah.
See, the only two options that are ever played are this or tower, and I don't like tower, so it probably would be spot zones.
I actually do like tower here.
I just think it's when the tower is going downhill, it is very awkward to fight against.
For sure.
In my experience, but it's I don't know. It's a map. I think it's a good change of pace, kind of. It adds variety to the map pool and makes it so you can't just play one play style through the entire thing. Expected one. I know Crab is a little bit weaker here. I know E-Leader is a little bit weaker here, so it does kind of force some alternative play styles, but not too much.
Yeah. I do find the benefit of tower control, though, is that it forces people to move so they can't just camp top mid and watch all the flank routes like you can kind of on this mode. We'll have to see if any of these players can find ways around that, find ways to avoid those lines of sight, and manage to get those flanks in, and who can win this opening fight to try to force them into that action.
We usually some interesting comps from both sides. We see Heavy and Tetras along with some standard meta weapons on the side of Twitter.com versus a Nautilus Pro comp, which is, once again, something you don't see that often. But
yeah, definitely the Nautilus and the Pro are a little bit strange. Baja is known for their Tetras and for their dually play, so that's not too much of a surprise here, but beautiful rolling around there. Unfortunately going to trade out, but Twitter.com is in full control of top mid.
Already we see so much mileage out of those dualies, and I believe they're already almost all the way. Yep, they're already back in so quickly. We do see the zone getting contested from Ocean 7, and that's going to be 3 down, which means that it's likely that they're going to get the cap here pretty soon. And there it is.
Yeah, a full cap now if they can just paint up. It looks like all 4 members are focusing here on this right-hand side. A little bit too focused, I think, but it's working out for them so far. 1 player down on the side of Twitter.com, and the others coming in with specials. We've spread out a little bit and are preventing Baja, the Tetras, from getting into that left-hand route.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of hard to get back in on this map like we were talking about. So just that uphill, the cage is being defended. That's going to be one of the main spots of high ground that this Heavy is going to be able to affect it. Any of these weapons kind of are going to struggle to get back in right here. The Crab does go out, and the specials are going to be really well timed from them in terms of just trying to get back in, and it looks like they are going to start to contest pretty strongly here, and they do get the cap.
Absolutely. That cap was well timed. They managed to get all the specials in, the trip serving as a smoke screen, the reef slider coming across top mid as a battering ram to force everyone out of there. Now really they just need to establish a stronger hold. It looks like specials are already coming from Ocean 7, and going down on this left-hand side is very good for Twitter.com. They managed to keep control of that zone and are holding, so far, a pretty dominant control of this zone.
Yeah, 2 come out of there kind of like a jack-in-the-box, a big surprise. And it just, it looks like it's starting to flip back onto the side of Ocean 7 here with 2 members down on Twitter.com. It's not exactly looking great for them. And Ocean 7 is going to try to get into a spot where they can hold for even longer again.
Yeah, Baja over there trying to pull a little bit of attention, managed to do that, but unfortunately didn't have any backup in order to get those picks as well. So they're going to have to try this again, working back uphill. Now, Twitter.com did it once. They can do it again. If they can get those specials back up, again, is a nice little smoke screen into this zone. It looks like we're running that reef slider over top mid yet again. We're going to get caught in some rain.
Unfortunate. That reef slider is such a death trap sometimes, unfortunately, for the Tetramans out there and the blue dapples. But it looks like Ocean 7 is starting to approach the point where they are going to be taking down with no penalty. But that being said, there's only the Sea Junior map, and only the Sea Junior round. It's unlikely that they're going to be able to hold a zone on their own, especially after they jump out. So Twitter.com is going to be back on the upper hand here, especially after they get the pick on the machine. And now all of Ocean 7 is funneled in that ramp area, meaning that it's going to be, fairly easy for Twitter.com to hold. But the Heavy on their side does go down.
Yeah, the interesting part here so far seems that Twitter.com seems to be having a harder time holding this right-hand side because Ocean 7 is just back up in so much more quickly than expected. So by the time Twitter.com gets their specials and paints up, they've already kind of lost that ramp control that Ocean 7 needs to get back in.
Yeah, there definitely is. Definitely being speedy here, but Twitter.com, if they are able to keep holding it, that is going to be their penalty ticking down, and they'd only have about 10 seconds to hold before they would take the lead here. And as the timer ticks down, it's definitely something they want to start thinking about. They don't have much time left to get this to get the lead back, so it's starting to, the pressure is on. It's starting to heat up, and we're going to see how they are going to be able to play it in these last 30 seconds of this match.
Yeah, Baja unfortunately getting picked out before they can get into position on that flank means their teammates are going to have to try to work up again across this ramp. They've done it twice. Can they do it a third time with only 20 seconds left on the clock? That's the dangerous part. Trip's already coming in as a smokescreen, Crab coming out as an attack weapon, and 2 players down before they manage to get into the zone. Baja is going to do their best to try to cap this, falling into Trench and not able to paint that zone. 5 seconds left on the clock. Paint coming in from the other side. They do manage to cap it, and they pull it overtime.
And now it's a matter of time. You know, this timer can tick down really fast. So Ocean 7 is going to be put in an uncomfortable spot, even though they do have a decent lead. But, you know, about 20 seconds, they only have to hold for 20 seconds, and that's going to be the game for Twitter.com. They really want to, you know, we see the Tetras pushing up here, just trying to put as much pressure as possible and making it the hardest that they can for them to paint the zone. But it's going to be one zone painted. It's a matter of time before they just get it. And there's only a few seconds left on the clock if Twitter.com gets this cap. So it's heating up.
3 members down on Ocean 7 means they are going to get that cap, and they are going to take lead with a barrage of specials on that zone and painting with their enemy's blood.
Wow, yeah. That was a fantastic comeback. It was very, very uncomfortable for them there, but they were able to, you know, stay calm and kind of get the coordination that they were lacking and just, you know, get the zone, keep it, and hold it for the last little bit that they needed. But it's never easy to take a game back in overtime, and very commendable that they did. But, you know, that brings us into a game 3 on Tower Control Eeltail, where, you know, winner takes all here. Winner moves on, loser doesn't.
Which is so stressful, especially in a best of 3, right? In a best of 5, you have a bit more time for the adaptation, to try to figure out what the other team is doing and how to fight against it. In a best of 3, you really only have one shot. So it's rough. It's so rough to try to play that under heavy circumstances, like on a tournament stream.
Yeah, yeah. Especially, you know, the stream does put a lot of pressure on it, but these players are doing fantastic right now. But Eeltail Alley is one of the other stages, just one of many stages of all time. It's a stage in the game. It exists. People have thoughts about it. It's an interesting map. It's so narrow, which means that it's kind of awkward in a lot of places.
I mean, you must love it because of Hydra, right?
I'm actually mixed on it. It's interesting. I feel like on defense, as a backline, it's kind of hard to get set up in certain places because a lot of the areas are either way too far back, so you're not going to be able to have any impact, or so close up that you're going to be just pressured out by a machine throwing fizzies or bombs or any number of different things. So it's just kind of an awkward map if you're on defense. But once you're on offense, it's smooth sailing.
Fair. I find it the other way around, actually. I guess maybe a difference in roles, but I find defense a lot easier than offense. Yeah.
The range there just probably makes all the difference.
I am sure it does.
The map is a spaghetti noodle.
Which makes it a lot harder for me and a lot easier for you. But we are going to see that E-Leader coming back out. I was wondering, and up against a heavy that does put a little bit of advantage on the side of Ocean 7.
Yeah, the heavy, it's great when you're going up against the backless comp because it gives you the range that you need without sacrificing too much aggression. But up against an E-Leader, you're just gonna struggle to function. You don't have the mobility of other weapons that are gonna be able to deal with it. But that being said, Twitter.com has a pretty strong opening here with 3 down. It's only that junior left alive, and they're being rushed down. They do take a few members out, but it's already past the first checkpoint here, which isn't a major feat, but it's certainly notable.
Absolutely. Now, they do a fantastic job there of waiting for their teammates, staying alive. Now 2 down on the side of Twitter.com. It's going to put them back on the defense. Baja here, Sharky and Mid, going to try to get a sneaky push or a sneaky pick of some kind, but unfortunately going to get seen and called out and taken out before they can get too much done.
Yeah, that T-Tech has their tri-strikes, and they're really, you know, trying to save those. So they're playing pretty conservatively here, and they are going to be throwing them out, canceling out that bubble there on the tower and forcing them back off, even if only momentarily. They are going to be back on here, and it's just second checkpoint is being touched, and they already took back the lead. Charger gets a pick. It's not looking great for it's not looking great for Twitter.com here, as they just keep pushing, and they're already at the 3rd checkpoint very, very quickly.
Yeah, Gaycat here swapping out just as I was hoping they would. E-Leader is not really the weapon you want to have on tower at that 3rd checkpoint. But, I mean, That said, it's going to get stalled out regardless. It looks like Gaycat trying to get a little bit of an overhead view on this right side, trying to pull things off and keep things forward. But I don't know if they're going to be able to push this tower much further. They're going to have to get a few picks first.
Yeah, they were pretty clumped up there on the right side, and they do disperse, but that could have been bad if they stayed over there. But now they're just kind of trying to hold this area right here, just trying to make sure that the fight doesn't go back to mid, that they keep it. But they do go down, but that's only the Tetras left alive. The Tetras are going to be able to get a pick, and it's only the E-leader now, and meaning that Twitter.com is going to be at an advantage here. Kind of. It's still, now it's back to mid. It's back basically to neutral as all the players start to get back in and start, you know, fighting for control once again.
Yeah, Twitter.com just trying to get a little bit of control here, maybe trying to get a few picks early. 2 going down to Baja with that Reef Slider sliding right on into their backline, and the last going down shortly thereafter. Radinia is going to have to grab this tower and get things moving, but I mean, they're in a pretty good position right now. Very few specials looking too good on the other team. We're about halfway to 2 more. Should be coming in fairly soon. That bubble, unfortunately, not even going to get popped before the player goes down.
They're going to be holding the enemy team back with a Booyah, and now they are approaching this checkpoint. They are approaching the lead that Ocean 7 did work pretty hard to get here, but the Booyah bomb is going to come out, meaning they're going to have to back off for just a little bit, giving the machine time to get in, and, you know, that's a wipe. That is so bitter, so like irritating for Twitter.com, who got so close to the lead there and had worked really hard for it, and now they have to go all the way back if they do want to get the lead and take the game.
Unfortunately, just didn't quite see that bomb rolling in on top of tower. That is my favorite move, but it sucks to see it happen to a team. Unfortunately, still a minute and a half left in the game, 2.5 down on Ocean 7. So Twitter.com still has some good control here, but it's kind of getting pretty scrappy here. They're going to need some pretty solid picks, and they still have quite a ways to go to get that lead.
You know, this is the game. This is game 3. A minute left. You're gonna start to get desperate. Neither of these teams want to be knocked out, so things are gonna get a little bit messy, especially in like the heat of the moment. You're on stream. You're really wanting to win, especially there. Specials are gonna come out all at once there, but Ocean 7, it's only their leader, and that is gonna be a knockout, which is great for Twitter.com, as it gives them the one last chance that they really have to push here, as the game is going to be, you know, less than a minute away from ending now.
Yeah, we see Twitter.com already pushing that tower up past that second checkpoint all the way towards that third. So they're gonna have to pause here for a little bit as that crab tank comes out. But their game's not over yet. There's still 37 seconds left in this, and quite a few players going down on Ocean 7. They're kind of just diving at tower, trying their best to stop this before it gets lead. They know if they don't keep lead here, it'll be very hard to take it in overtime, and they don't want to let that happen. Lip Blue trying to provide some jumps into tower, trying to dance and dive around, stay alive as we're nearing the final seconds of this game. 2 players go down on either side, and pulling this through, this might be lead.
That's so rough. That is gonna be game, though. They absolutely do not have time to get back in. That's just so unfortunate. Just the bombs going out. Things just got, like I said, they got messy towards the end, as just everyone was so desperate to win. It does go to Ocean 7, and Ocean 7 is gonna be moving on.
They really just needed to play a little bit more patiently. They still had a little bit of time there. What they really needed was the lead. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess depending on who you're cheering for, Ocean 7 doing a fantastic job of cleaning that up. It was very well played. They managed to throw so many resources at the tower that the tower just couldn't move any further. And, you know, good job to them.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic job from both teams. You know, we did see the game. It wasn't close by any means. You know, we saw it go down to the wire there. So if things are just seen slightly differently, we could have seen an entirely different outcome with Twitter.com moving on. But like we said, Ocean 7 just played it a bit better there at the end. Was able to get the lead earlier and was able to hold it. So they're gonna come out victorious, and they're gonna be the ones moving on.
And someone has to lose, and someone has to win. So. You can't always have it the way you want it to, and you can't always have it the way you want it to, you know? Or something. But pretend that English was good, you know?
You know, and this is a great set that, you know, you can kind of look back on and maybe learn something from.
Absolutely.
With how close they are, which is, once again, we mentioned earlier, if you're not going into a tournament looking for scrim partners, you're doing it wrong. But also, you know, if you're not looking for some VODs to review, you're also kind of doing it wrong. So
it's really good practice. I feel like a lot of the time people view tournaments as ways to get really good results to impress other people. And that is the case for sure. But typically, at least for me personally, I tend to reserve that kind of mindset for major tournaments. For things like weeklies, it really just is all about the practice. How can I perform in this kind of tense environment? How can I pull or work under this kind of pressure? And what kind of teams can I fight and hopefully beat that I might not normally have the opportunity to fight?
And the endurance as well, you know.
Yeah.
A scrim can last for like a few, you know, a scrim lasts for a bit, but a tournament is a whole other beast in terms of just back to back and your downtime and then back to back again. It's just rough and it's really taxing, especially for teams that are kind of newer. So it's something, you know, you can always take something away from it. You should always be looking for ways to improve, and that's just how you grow and how you do eventually get to the point where you are going to be getting those results. But
for sure, and there really is just no other way to get that kind of pressure practice that something like a tournament provides. You have to play in things like weeklies or majors to get that experience under your belt. Otherwise, when you do encounter that kind of environment, you might crumble under the pressure.
Yeah, but so, you know, Ocean 7 does get to go on, like we were saying, and that is going to be it from us. But, you know, there is going to be more after. But before that, Lily, where can we find you?
Oh, I'm very easy to find. You can find me at Splatoon Lily on Twitter and on Twitch. I recently did a poll for our team to see if we should stream more, and apparently we should. So hopefully you'll be seeing me on Twitch a little bit more frequently coming up in the future. And Weef, where can they find you?
You can find me also on Twitter at Twitch at WeefSlider, like the special that we saw the Tetris player use, but with a W at the beginning instead of
so, because it's the best.
Oh, well, it's one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, that's gonna be it for us, and thank you so much. We are gonna be passing it on to some very capable hands, so do not turn away as we continue with Great White Bracket. But
see you soon.
See you soon.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to SOS 98. My name is Skepidillions, and I am here with the lovely and fantastic Genie 7, continuing off our great white bracket with our set between CATBOYS and Nawal Gaming. Genie, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited for a good set. CATBOYS came off of honestly, a big upset in the first round of Great White, coming up against a really strong team in Nawal. I know that CATBOYS is a pickup, and they're looking to make waves and put some extra little stamps on the resumes for the Plus servers, as always.
Always, I recognize Sune on this charge of CATBOYS, so we're going to be seeing some sniper action, but they are a fantastic frontline player if they do choose to flex for that. Zenith, your typical frontline aggro, run it down type. Same thing with Gina. So in terms of that pickup, expect a lot of very fast-paced aggression and excellent snipes. They should be good and great contenders with Nawal Gaming, who have been playing this season of SAC and doing fantastically in it, placing gold bracket in both qualifier 1 and 2.
Yeah, and I honestly think they would have made gold going into qualifier 3, but they didn't play. So we will never know. They are always contenders in SAC, but we are here in Acid OS. Rainmaker Hagglefish is the first map mode combination that we're going up against, and I'm looking at this map list and seeing Hagglefish, Inkblot, Mako. I don't feel like there's anyone that will complain about that any day.
It's honestly and genuinely a fantastic group of maps. SOS did recently narrow its pool. I believe this is the second SOS that wasn't playing all maps, all modes. So we're going to start to see that more strict competitive map modes that these players are familiar with. So probably going to see some developing and emerging strategies here. In terms of Rainmaker Hagglefish, I do expect to see snipers on both sides, given that Aizen does play leaders.
Oh, and we don't have snipers from
Oh,
any of them.
I'm a liar.
You know what? That's okay. Both these teams are going to be rolling forward with a splash and a machine. Not too surprising. But my biggest picks that are interesting are the Nautilus and that Wiper.
And that Wiper going to do a fantastic job shredding that Rainmaker barrier to try and get pops as quickly as possible. Similar thing going on with the Knot, except with the shot velocity instead of its object shredder multiplier.
We do see Epic Sonic Eladios trying to go in, but they do out of that bomb. Teams trading out back and forth. CATBOYS are trying to get Nawal into a corner. Not looking so well because Nawal's got the specials to force CATBOYS back. The zone control and the paint control seem to be in Nawal's favor.
Yeah, you're totally right. We do see the paint all the way up to that pedestal, so whenever Aizen chooses to go in for a dunk, their teammates are there, but an excellent stamp from Zenith here going to clear that out. There's plenty of time for either team to clear that checkpoint, but CATBOYS looking to gain some ground here.
Yeah, it's looking good for them. They've used a couple specials, but they saw that Zuka and the Booyah Bomb ready to go. Trying to find some more space in mid. They got the Epic Sonic Gladios with the sorry, not the tri-strike, the Trizuka. There we go. We got multiple tri weapons in this game, but you know what? That is the Trizuka. Haven't seen it too often. Hold up, CATBOYS looking for a good push, looking to see if they can get to this Rainmaker dunk, and Nishi should be able to get it here and now, and they do.
Fantastic! They finally got that dunk, but look at all of that pink paint. Regardless of where they are around the fish, this is going to be a very quick repop from Nawal in order to break back into mid. They do have 2 down on the side of CATBOYS, so going to be a very scrappy and turbulent push here on the retake.
Oh, if any more members of CATBOYS fall in, that's really good, because just Zenith, who's got the Wiper, who's so far away, Nawal's going to get this first checkpoint for themselves secured. They should be able to get a good pop. If they don't get flanked up by the Wiper, Wiper's causing a lot of damage and a lot of distraction, so Nawal's not going to pop that Rainmaker. They will get the Wiper down. The CATBOYS are here to defend.
1 point for lead, though, as that crab comes out, and that lead ever so quickly falls. They do lose the Rainmaker, but once it's on plat, it's on plat. So if Nawal Gaming can get this pop, they should be able to score some more points.
They did. They got all the way down to 27, which is good. Just a little bit past that leap onto the ledge. Should be good for a little bit, but this map, Hagglefish Rainmaker, so flat. Once you're on that plat, points just start falling like there's nothing else holding them back.
You're totally right. I like to think of it as the Rainmaker Black Belly of Splatoon 3. Once you're on plat, similar to how you were on elbow, the points just keep on going. CATBOYS well positioned here for a push with a staggered 3 down on the side of Nawal. Make that a delayed wipe. It is just Aizen on that top right.
And they're able to stop the Rainmaker with 1.28 to 27. A wipeout coming through in the favor of Nawal. Great way to shut down that play.
It really shows how close and narrow towards that ledge, how unstable that jump can be. If you're a little bit off on your maneuvering on that jump, that can cost you a couple of points, and a couple of points can cause you a lead, especially in that early 32 to 25 range. CATBOYS is going to find themselves 2 down, however, so hopefully, maybe, Nawal will be able to extend their lead.
They're going left side. You very rarely see left side being so heavily contested by CATBOYS. They got a Crab and a Trizuka, plus that Wiper coming down on a Chomper. Chomper's going to stay alive in this corner. They're staying alive for a little bit longer than I expected. The CATBOYS are able to shut down the Rainmaker for now. The jumps might start becoming in for Nawal, but it's going to be hard if there's no members left alive.
But this is a great place for Nawal to have gone down, because CATBOYS needs to either opt for a reset here or grab the fish. They choose to grab the fish, but as you can see clearly here, by the time they got to mid, all of the members of Nawal had come out of spawn. So they might be well positioned here for a defense. In order to do that, they're going to need to get control of their plat here. And look, with Nero going down, it's not looking favorable for them.
Yeah, and here goes CATBOYS. They've got the Rainmaker in a good spot, but there's one less member of Nawal who goes in. Chomper gets the Rainmaker down in an extremely important situation. Pops that triple ink strike, trying to defend a little bit more so and stall for the members of Nawal to come in. And Epic Sonic Gladius is falling. The rest of the members of CATBOYS are crunching on a Chomper, but that's such a heroic play.
It is fantastic stall. Every second matters. Nawal's holding a 1-point lead, so the further they can get this fish away from that plat, the better it is for them. Opting for a reset here. CATBOYS does have control of mid, and look at all this blue paint they have in that court. We see Latios in the elbow trying to go in and get some picks, generate some space. CATBOYS forced into a situation where they have to grab, but now they need to deal with this crab on that top left, otherwise they're just going to get the fish.
Yeah, they're gonna get taken out, and there's no time left on the clock. They have to pop this Rainmaker if you're CATBOYS. It's gonna be so hard because Nawal's gonna fight that pop with everything that they have. CATBOYS, they do get the pop, but no time to grab it. Nawal takes game 1 by singular point.
Oh, just incredible. The 1-point meme in Splatoon 3. You would think we would have gotten rid of that curse in Splatoon 2, but alas, 'tis not.
It's no matter what game we're in, it will always be there. It will always be there, no matter if you're joining through the plaza through Inkvaders Square, or Splatsville, or Death Coral City. The 1-point meme will always still be there. I had to drop a little bit of the direction in there, Skip. You knew it.
We like to call it the, Acapulco City, because it's coral. Get it? Anyway. Clamblitz Inkblot. Another very incredibly scrappy map. What's going to make the difference here is how well either team is going to be able to pin plat from the left side slick or the right new ramp that we have that makes this map mode so much more viable.
I'm looking at Nawal's comp, and I see that Nautilus, and I see 2 maps that Nautilus really enjoys. Clamblitz and Clamblitz on Inkblot, Art Academy, and Spots on Mako. If I'm CATBOYS, I'm worried because Nautilus can do a lot of damage really quickly. Its kit may not be the best in the game currently, but they did not take away the power of the Nautilus, even receiving a slight and extremely needed buff because main power up isn't in this game.
Yeah, that buff has really returned Nautilus into a fighting stance, right? People laughed at the kit, they had the point sensor in the Storm, but Storm actually does not decently well in terms of breaking and creating forward space. Obviously not as an incredible frontline midline slayer, but it still needs space in front of it in order to operate and play with its charges, play with its holds, its partials. So the Storm also on Inkblot, fantastic at locking and holding plat and forcing opponents to take a different route out of mid, possibly funneling them into your teammates.
Yeah, I want to see if Epic Sonic Gladius is going to pick that Trizuka again. Trizuka not known to be good on Clamblitz. Rainmaker, I can see it coming out because just kind of how Trizuka works. And its lethality. Get one shot down on the Rainmaker, or one shot, or 3 shots in, 3 splats. It works, but Clamblitz, I feel like that might not be the pick.
I wonder though, because we're talking about Inkplot in particular, and clearing those bats is so important. So if you have an opponent going rail to get up onto bats or walking up slick to do it, perhaps that Zuka from Plat or elsewhere will really help them operate and break in. We do see Laudio sticking on that shot, like you mentioned.
I believe we don't have any comp change whatsoever from either of these teams. We're just going to be running it back on a different map. We want to see if CATBOYS can come out. Remember, they only lost that last game by a singular point. So this game in the series is totally going out of their
You're totally right. It's play all 3, best of 3. So CATBOYS does need to win this game, however. So they need to come in strong, and they need to keep Nawal out of mid as best they can, given that's where a majority of the clams spawn.
Doing good fights, just holding on to mid. Nawal is trying to push back in with the members' advantage they had. Is Epic Sonic Gladius is going in on the Booyah Bomb. Can they find another one? They find Nero as well. Are they able to find this machine? Aizen is trying to hold on, but Epic Sonic Gladius is just too strong. And here they go, the push from CATBOYS. They've got the clams. Actually, no, they don't. They only have 2 clams to their name.
2 clams, but a lot of forward space. Latios does have that Zuka, so how is that going to be used to clear particularly this left side as we see that Splash trying to swing the members of CATBOYS here?
We see a big fight on the bottom of our screen. Triple Ink Strike plus that Rain Cloud. And a Crab Tank. Nawal, so much space that they made that none of the CATBOYS have fallen yet. So all they have is space. They need some more clams. They've got a splat. This should be a good looking push for them if they just get a power clam. I see 7 on that left side, but I believe 7 just went down. And it did.
Yeah.
CATBOYS, the defense, it's holding strong.
It seems like people have forgotten to get clams before they push all the way up to Plat, because that did cost Nawal a lot of time. They had specials working up there. They had space. They had paint. The only thing they didn't have was actually objective. CATBOYS going to find themselves in a situation where they need to back. Look at all of this purple paint, Genie.
See it, and Aizen's got that power climb. They got Chomper. They're fighting with Nero and that Nautilus on the side on the left. Here goes Nawal. Aizen tries to go in. They get the power climb in before going down. Triple Ink Strike is out as well. Lots of members falling. Just Chomper left alive. They've got some clams, but I don't think they want to fight this.
Yeah, I'll be shocked if they try and keep this going. They do try and hold Plat, but unable to dunk it any further. CATBOYS quickly back in mid. Hopefully this time around, they do manage to get some clams in their hands, because they're going to need them. 74 is not a large lead, and CATBOYS can absolutely take this on the less engaged if they're smart.
Aizen falls. There's that Trizuka out from Epic Sonic Gladius, but they're going to get flanked from around behind. Nero gets 1, Nero gets 2. That's a really good job. 2 power claims alive for CATBOYS, but that's all that they have. They want to keep their crab tank. They want to keep these jumps in, but will Nawal be able to punish them?
Playing life is the smart thing here, because if they do just choose to go in with those power clams, they will maybe be able to dunk them, but they won't be able to continue before going down. Despite that, look, they're already on their plat, and CATBOYS are 3 down.
Yeah, let's make that a delayed wipe. Nero's able to find that last one. For the clams, Nawal, they're looking for clams. They kind of forgot to play objective. Clam Blitz can be a little bit confusing at times, and I think they finally got a power. They are able to get in the basket, but it cost them they're not. It cost them 2 more as well.
The Splash is falling back. They do have that crab, but they need to live against this Wiper that's trying to push them. It's just so quick to get from plat to plat on respawn here. An excellent shred from the members of CATBOYS in order to be able to destroy that crab, but they still have not gotten any pushes in, and they're 1 up with 1.5 minutes left in the game.
This is hard, because CATBOYS, they need this game so badly to stay alive in the tournament. And Nawal's been able to hold strong in their defensive. Their attacks have been look a little bit weak, but here goes that triple Ink Strike. Attack doesn't look as weak now. They're able to get 1. They get the Wiper. They're trying to find the machine on this right side. Nero's going in. Does find it. There is going to be Crab. Epic Sonic Gladius goes down. Booyah Bomb coming up from Nawal. Chopper's trying to get 1 more clam so he can get a power before CATBOYS punishes them too hard. There's going to be trading scenario and a power clam on the ground.
Great trade, all things considered, because CATBOYS was able to keep Nawal out of their plat. They do have this power clam to work with, but they need to be able to get onto bats in order to be able to dunk. If they continue going down like this and continuing trading out and not generating specials, they're going to have a very difficult time doing that.
It's not too much time for CATBOYS, and they're losing members. Chompers found some good picks, and they're going in and getting another one as well. Wow. But Nawal, with the 2-2 scenarios, they will always like take this because they just need to hold on.
All Nawal needs to do at this point is to keep getting picks. They will always be out of spawn on their own plat, faster than CATBOYS will be able to get there.
Here we go. Final 10 seconds and leading into overtime. CATBOYS, they have a power climb on the ground. They can't forget about it. Please don't forget about it. Okay, good. They have it. They have what they need. But the defensive specials from Nawal, they are ready. How is CATBOYS going to find their way in? This is the Trizuka. Epic Sonic Gladius throws it out. The Booyah Bomb displacement comes through good. There goes the machine down on side of Nawal. Can CATBOYS get in? They have the Booyah Bomb of their own. They got to go to this power. Got to get this power climb into the basket. 2 members of Nawal go down. The Rain Cloud proving to be too much work at the moment. There's no time. There's no time. You got to get the power climb in the basket. And with no members alive, that's Nawal going to be taking the series.
The setup was perfect. You could see Latios getting onto plat, getting the picks, using the block to swing around to that right side. Just Nawal coming in and just feeding for it, honestly, and it worked, right? Once they got the wiper that was holding that power clam, and Latios had to fall back and give up that space, and Nawal was able to flood in, get paint underneath their feet, stall them out where they had to hop around. They couldn't be shooting at anything clearly. They won, but it was looking very, very scrappy for them there. Had CATBOYS gotten that dunk, it definitely would have been a GG with only a lead of 74 points. They really were down to the wire there.
Wow, that was such a close series. Even though Nawal took it in a 2-0 fashion, it felt like it was always within reach for CATBOYS, but just a little bit too far for them to grab.
It is, you know, but that's the nature of things. So I do believe that CATBOYS does have a 3rd place match. No. They don't. But eliminated from the tournament, but regardless, these are all fantastic players. Congratulations on your great white run. That is a big deal. And we look forward to seeing them next week, maybe even in the upcoming SOS 100.
Who knows? But what I do know for a fact is that Yo, that's a jumper. Yo Hard, that's jumper versus Nawal is our next match, as QuantMum versus Super Greasy Full Send is currently playing. So our next match will not be in too long, and we would love to see you on the other side of this break. Hello, everybody, and welcome back from the break. I am still Genie7 and still joined by Skepta Dylan. But here we are in a new round of this SOS. We are in winners semis. Well, semis because it's single 11.
You know, this is a set that I'm very excited for because Yo Hard, that's Jumper, got second place in SOS 95. What makes it so special to me is that they ran a blob. So, we're gonna see some blob, hopefully, fingers crossed. You might recognize Bran from Starverse. If you don't, where have you been? Bran, fantastic slosher player, very aggressive frontline player, very big brain. So this is basically Bran and their Splatoon 1 friends. So a very seasoned pickup. And then Nawal, of course, the rising stars of SAC, fantastic team. Definitely they're going to be looking at this pickup very cautiously.
Yeah, it would be a little bit of an upset if they will, I feel, is to take this. But in this Splatoon set, in a best of 3, anything can happen. Absolutely anything can happen.
But I mean, Yo Hard, that's Jumper did go second place, right? So they're not unbeatable. By getting second place, by definition, they were defeated. So I'm sure they're looking forward to getting first place. But they're gonna have to go through Nawal to do it.
I'm looking forward to this first match. Sturgeon Shipyard Tower Control, a map mode combination which is not unfamiliar to Splatoon 2 vets or Splatoon 3 players, because it is seen quite frequently in tournaments. I'm very, very interested to see how many machines we see. And I know that Tri-Strike is a popular specialty.
Mm-hmm. You know, honestly, what I look forward to seeing here is Blob. And before you act surprised and go, oh, why Blob on tower control? Number one, because they ran it in SOS number 5 on TC Flounder. So, like, it has been done. And number 2, just because Storm, and granted, there are other ways you can get Storm, right? It's on, like, 3 or 4 weapons in the game. It's just very good on clearing window, and in terms of how drawn out that first checkpoint is, that first checkpoint feels like it's forever. Storm can have some very similar effects, given that it's one of the longest lasting specials in the game. But we'll see if I'm coping.
We will completely see. I don't think there's too much cope. As we see Nawal's comp start and cope.
No Blob, I'm coping.
2 splashes.
Oh, and you recognize Unaware G from our Ludi set the other day. The machine.
Yep. Yes, I do recognize Unaware now that I'm seeing that. That's I'm guessing that's gonna be slow on the battle fly. You know, that's why I knew there's something off here.
All right, Devil Crab very quickly out from Nawal, and they do manage to find Unaware.
Where we see Test and Brand also having their crabs at the ready, and Yo Hard, they're pushing hard to keep control of the zone, but they've lost 2 members overall. The Nautilus has been traded out on the side of Nawal. Yo Hard is pushed back, and Nawal's tower should be rocking towards his first checkpoint.
Nawal is the first team to get to that first checkpoint, but they are going to do so with only the Nautilus left standing. Unaware catching Robin there off guard, and does manage to get all the way into court here. This is some seriously damaging forward presence from Yo Hard.
Yeah, and there goes the tower. It's starting to move towards his first checkpoint. Yo Hard, they've got the control, they've got the space, and I mean, they've got Bran in a dominant spot on that with that crab tank. First checkpoint should be gone. Good follow-up. Can Bran turn around and get the Nautilus in this fight? No, but they're going to find Chomper. Yes, they will. Can they find the Nautilus as well? Is Bran going to go super mode? Not quite. That's A-okay because Yo Hard, they're pushing this tower all the way to the second checkpoint.
The first checkpoint is broken, and that does tend to be a sign of things to come here on Tower Control Sturgeon. Yo Hard opting not to push the tower any further and to maintain control of mid. Nawal, knowing that this re-engage is their next plan of action, they do have the Booyah to do it, and they do manage to get the pick on Test as well. A 2v2 situation.
I'm more worried about Bran here, who's coming from a little bit of a flank angle. I want to know if Nawal knows about this at all. It looks like they do, especially with that point sensor. Little bit of an it's underutilized, the point sensor, for sure.
It really is, and on this map in particular, it does have some advantages, especially as you point out, checking and controlling that snipe.
Nautilus using it to perfection. They have to watch out though, because their team is all gone around them. They're being shot up by 2 splashes and a machine. You gotta jump out in that scenario, and they aren't able to get out in time. Unaware of being able to punish that. Go hard, pushing so hard with the tower. Booyah Bomb, Crab Tank, they have a killer whale at the ready. The only thing that they don't have is this second checkpoint.
Yeah, going to hit the second checkpoint with the crab on the tower. That's going to be an immovable force for the time being as they do clear that checkpoint and look towards the KO.
This KO is more than likely going to happen. The Crab Tank, though, from Nawal is here to stop it and slow it down. Aizen is trying to find Test, but Brand is still there, trying to go for this tower. Seth is going to jump in. I think they're going to be able to hold on if you're on the side of Nawal, because they've got the spots that they need. Wait, hold up. Game not over yet. The tower is still pushing for Yo Hard. They've got a Crab Tank at the ready. The jumps are coming in, but oh, this is... I think it's a good stall.
Yo Hard is playing for a wipe here. Once they round this corner, if they have enough momentum, it is just unstoppable. We just see that the Splash is the only member up, Genie.
Oh, yeah, and Brand's going to go hop off the tower to try and help their teammates. Nero is able to get one. I think they stalled enough for Nawal to be able to defend this tower again. I have no idea what's going on.
At this point, it really just is a stall. Yohard is keeping it on their side of the map and playing this cautiously. All they need to do is keep the tower here for another minute and a half, and they'll win the game, assuming that they're constantly trading positively.
That's hard to see for Seth. Seeing the 52 gun accuracy just coming a little bit unfortunate with those shots to the left. That Booyah Bomb and that Crab Tank. Good combination. Nero's going to go around from the side, but gets squished by Brand. Brand's pushing this tower, and this wipeout comes through. Yo Hard, they're just going to start rolling the tower. But the tower, it's all the way back in mid. I think Nawal has an opportunity.
It is. The tower is going to take some time to get back to that KO position. By this time, oh, great pick from Seth here, Genie.
Seth gets one, Seth gets two, and they see the last 2 members of Nawal. Push back in a corner, splash whale, killer whale. What are you supposed to do in that scenario? Run around and shoot. That's exactly what Chomper says. Killer whale's out. But how long and how hard can Nawal stall?
Honestly, Nawal really needs to break back into mid here. They have this trip strike. That's great to cancel the crab. It does force Bran off of those grates, but Nawal finding themselves in a situation where Chomper is the only one up. They're going to shark this corner and wait for an opportunity to re-engage, but they're found up by Seth and trade out.
Not surprising. Seth actually has Haunt. Didn't see that off the rip, but you can't really shark if you take out Seth before. It's such an underutilized ability I find on frontliners. But here we go. This last little bit of a push, trying to come up from Yo Hard. They don't need the lead. They already have it. They don't need the knockout. What they want is Nawal to stay in their spawn.
But the splash is up on window. It's just Nero. Nero has to look forward. Nawal needs to get on that tower, and they need to do it quickly, but they don't have anyone physically near it. This looks like it's going to be GG's, Genie, because Nawal simply can't get out of their own snipe. There's nothing that they can do to contend with this. They don't have the bodies in front of them. Yohar just continuously going into their spawn and maintaining a good, solid barrier of physical defense in front of that tower, giving it breath to just float back and forth between that right side and mid.
You could just see by the map on the screen behind us, behind the winner POV. The map was painted for Yo Hard. Nothing for Nawal, just a spawn, and that's all it felt like it was the entire game. Nawal didn't give up the spawn. They didn't give any more points other than 7. But off of they only got 1 opening push. They did a good job, but got shut down, and were never, ever, ever able to see mid again.
And really, it was an extremely aggressive, I'm not going to give you time to play for your win condition play style that allowed Yohard, that's Jumper, to be able to do that. Nawal with that machine and that Nautilus really needed to play for special a little bit for their re-entry, but with that consistent 1 or 2 down, that was just something that they found themselves having a difficult time with. So unless Chomper on that shot popped off and got 2-3 down, they were never going to have that wiggle room. Ordinarily, Nawal, very fantastically skilled team, that is something that they can find themselves doing. They can just go in and frag, but against someone that's constantly running them down, you could really see that they had difficulty maintaining a line, setting a line.
I'm looking towards Rainmaker Undertow, and sorry, I can't think of Undertow in any other way other than a certain Buckeye graduate screaming about mid. I can never unhear that in my mind. But I know Rainmaker on this map, there's two paths. You can either go left side or you can go right side. left side is definitely the path that more people like to go and the path that more people should go. Right is only there if you have run speed or need that first checkpoint, and they're all defending left.
I wholeheartedly agree. Really, for those sustained, drawn-out pushes, you do want to go left. It's easier to get jumps in there because you have control of mid. Also, opponents can't just drop on you out of spawn. They have to take their time to go right. Regardless, this is Rainmaker Undertow. If there's any map in the world known for Rainmaker cheese, it's this one. Get behind them.
Here we go. Match is starting. No Nautilus coming out of the side of Nawal, and the same comp coming out of Yohar.
Double splash.
Double splash.
Sorry, we do see Nero switching from we do see Chomper switching from the shot to the splash, opting for that double crab.
And we got crabs coming out on both sides. Yohar, they're able to get the splats first before Nawal pops their own crab defensively. Chomper is going to try and stay alive on that top side. You see the Booyah Bomb and the Tri-Strike coming out for Nawal to stall the Rainmaker, and here goes Nawal on the offensive, trying to take out the members of Yohar before the members of Yohar take them out. Crab tanks are going down left and right. 3 members down from Yohar. Nawal, they're going to be able to grab this Rainmaker and start pushing it if they can find the last member. And that last member is none other than Brand. Brand's able to get 2 before going down.
Brand taking out enough people with him to that now we're in a situation where Yohar, that's Jumper, has managed to come out of spawn and stall up this push. Nawal had an excellent opportunity and Brand just snatched it away from them by playing time.
Brand also just such a good member of any team that they play on. Always a great addition. Great shots from the Rainmaker, actually, I see. To be able to slow down Yohar's push. This is actually an opportunity. If Nero wants to go for that right side, maybe not, because Brand sees that and is going to play defensively.
Okay, Nawal pushing up. They are looking at this left side, but they do need to get tests off of these grates. They break the checkpoint, but is this going to be sustained? They're 2 up in the area that matters. They do lose 1, but this trip strike might be the difference if Robin stays alive and they don't. Yohar defending this checkpoint, or this area, at least for now.
Yeah, first checkpoint good for Nawal. They've got space in mid. They've painted up mid and have good control. As long as they don't go down in individual fights, as soon as I say that, I commentator curse it. I'm sorry, Nawal.
But the Rainmaker resets while Nawal has 4 people up, and this trip strike near the fish, not opting to use it to pop, but they clear the area around it. That's great, but look at all this forward paint that Yohard has. They have that right side painted enough to where they could just, oh my gosh, the left check!
Chopper's able to stop it at the last possible moment. Tess doesn't able to get that done, and that's a critical and crucial play from the members of Nawal to keep that checkpoint alive. That'll come back to bite Yohard later in the match.
Oh my gosh, Bran with this wall on mid, it just makes them so difficult to approach. Nawal finding themselves in a staggered 2 down.
This is good. Brand's finding a lot of space, but the Rainmaker has reset. Nawal's pushed back. The killer whale's coming out from Yohard. Brand's gonna pop this crab tank on the top left, looking for Chopper. Chopper trying to break some ankles, shooting Brand in the crab tank. Help, he's coming from Seth, but Brand still wins it. Just better sometimes.
Sometimes you gotta go for the cheeky crab bonk. Oh man, Yohard not able to clear the checkpoint quite yet. They just keep getting dropped on as they try and clear this corner.
Here goes Yohard. They've got that pop. The tri-strikes are out from Nawal to stall again. The amount of space that is being controlled by specials is amazing for both teams.
Yeah, but those trip strikes just coming out a bit early because the fish hasn't been grabbed. That absolutely could be used to stop a push. It did in this case just because Yohard didn't go in afterwards. But regardless, that made me quite nervous, Genie.
It did as well for me. We got a crab tank and a Rainmaker. Never mind, the Rainmaker's gone from Yohard. We see Brand goes off to the side, gets 1. Looking for more members of Nawal. Members of Nawal, they don't want to fall easily. They don't want to fall just all by themselves. This is going to be a lot of work for Brand if they want to find a way.
At this, we do see Nawal Gaming maintaining control towards the end of the game. Brand finding himself in the middle of a Booyah and going to go down. That's Yohard's spearhead going down. So Nawal going to be able to maintain control of mid here, and that's excellent because you never know where Yohard's going to push. If they choose to go that right push, they only need to tap that fish after breaking it.
Here goes Nawal on that left side. I don't think the Rainmaker is able to stay alive. We see the T-Tech going. They're going forward. They're going to get some more points, and that's A-okay for Nawal. They don't mind that the Rainmaker went in alone. they got a few more points on the board.
Just don't feed for it. We do see Nero going down on that right side. Nawal needs to get to mid as quickly as possible and not lose any more members, because look at this. Yohard is gaining control of mid and they're prepping this right side. This is exactly what I was describing. They are going to go for this right check on this reset and then just cheese it further up that right side.
Yeah, you're right, because 48 isn't all that close. It's very close to that base of that ramp, and they will want to be defending on their left side. But actually, Seth has made space on the left. There is enough time for the Rainmaker to be grabbed and go left, and they are. But Chomper sees that. They have 10 seconds left. They gotta get to the Rainmaker, and Tess is gonna hold on. They're gonna stay back, and they're gonna play patiently. Crab tank out from Nawal. They got Tri-Strike at the ready as well if you're able to defend this. Go hard. They're trying to find a good avenue to get Tess in here. Overtime starting to tick down the Rainmaker. We've got a little bit more time, but I don't think they see Nero's Shark, and Nero's gonna come in clutch. It takes out the Rainmaker with 4 clean shots of the splash.
It was the hesitation. It was very clear from the overhead, in my opinion, in terms of the callouts that were being set up. We could see the machine, the machine unaware clearing that right side and beginning to. There was enough paint there for the checkpoint to be broken. The fish easily could have gone from mid to that right side, but regardless, Nawal had come out of spawn. They were starting to put paint down a little bit, and you could see, conversely, that what looked like it would have been a very good flank from Seth on that left side was now being cut off by the members of Nawal. Or conversely, so they were focusing on aware, which meant that Seth, who was previously a flank, now had an excellent path for the Rainmaker to push. The indecision there from Tess, who is now the Rainmaker handler, allowed Nawal to get. What do you need in order to set up a flank? You need paint on the ground and you need time. Chomper took excellent advantage of that in order to be able to seal the deal, and now we're in a game 3 where Nawal is still in contention.
Nawal, their hopes are still alive. Yohard, they're pushed up against the wall in this best of 3. Using Clam Blitz is a map that is so explosive for clams. It's so mid control is so important until you get the enemy team's spinner. And as soon as that spinner goes, the clams just start coming. It's all stars up in here.
I think this is I think this is the second most attacker sighted clam blitz map in the game. First being Mahi, because once you dunk, you dunk. All right. Second being Clam's Museum, because even if you don't dunk, if you maintain a presence on plat, you're going to dunk eventually. And I think that makes such a huge difference. Both of these teams are now running double crab. But the difference here being that Yohard, that's Jumper, running that 52. And how is that going to make a difference? Because on defense here, teams love to pop crab on that top right above basket. So having that whale might set up Yohard, that's Jumper, very well, and we will see very shortly as to whether or not that continues to come out. Nawal here maintaining the exact same comp that they were playing the previous game, different from game 1, as well as Yohard, that's Jumper, sticking with this double splash machine 52 comp. So the T-Tech with the Zukas, also great for countering Clav, versus the whale with the or the 52 with the killer whale, another crab counter.
Here we go. Match point for both teams. Both teams need this so badly, as we see Test and Nero going for these early crab engagements. Both teams looking for anything they can find, and this is Nawal. They've got 2. They've got 3. Can they get 4 as a team? They need the clams, and they've got tons on their way. This is exactly how they wanted to start this game. They've got a Booyah Bomb at the ready. They've got Tri-Strikes, but they're not able to get more clams in. They got it down to 68, but the members of Yohard are able to come back with a counter wave even harder.
Now we can see Yohard. Look how quickly they have gone from plat to plat. Seth throwing up that wall, and they have a very good spread over this spinner. The crab on that spinner.
Where are their clams? They kind of forgot. None of them played objective. They all have their specials already. They're all going in. They had all this space. They had all this paint control. But where's your power climb? Still, where's your power climb? Finally, that was 28 seconds without a power climb. I can't help.
So right. When your spearhead has to give up space in order to drop back into mid to get clams and play objective, that's a problem. And that did temporarily, at least, cause Jumper that push.
there's a killer whale. 2 members of Nawal gone. Booyah Bomb out. Chomper loses their crab tank. Test is in on this plat, trying to find the spots that they need to allow their team to get in. They do good job to find 2 spots. Can they find a third? Because the team needs them to find that. Go hard. They're sent all the way back. Oh my goodness.
Look at this deep stagger. Nawal doing such a fantastic job at maintaining control of their own plat. We did discuss before that this map mode does in particular tend to stagger and stall out. Hopefully this time with 3 down, Yohard That's Jumper has learned their lesson, getting delayed wipe on Nawal.
Yeah, even though there's a delayed wipe, Yohard That Jumper, they're already back in. They already have 2 power climbs. So much better and so much more organized than their previous push. I don't think they have any more. Actually, they have no more clams to their name. So this push will only go to 60. But I can't help but think that was so much better.
It was, and look, they get 2 more picks on the members of Nawal. Nawal forced into a situation where they do pick up that power clam, but look, they're pinned between Test and Unaware. Yohard maintaining control of plat, and this is what makes Clamblitz Museum so difficult, is once you lose your own plat, which Nawal has done a fantastic job of defending so far this game, how do you regain it? Because they have rats in their attic.
I don't know. I feel like they have to go back to school because so far they're being caught unaware on their test. But let's see if Nawal can find their way out. They have to go through Bran. They have to go through Seth, and I'm not gonna make a joke twice.
This is set point. Whoever wins this goes on to our semifinals game. To our finals game, and then whoever loses this goes on to 3rd place. So it's incredibly important for Nawal to get in here. We do see them popping crabs, so prepping for another push. If they manage to get clams here, they could go in on this.
This is the first time they've seen mid since they had their first push, and that was their only push, that being Nawal. This is good. They've got 3 down. They forced Bran into a crab, rolling around at the speed of sound. Can they find Bran? Find anything? Bran finds 1. Can Bran find 2? No, they can't. Nawal, they have clams. Can they make a power? They do. They get it into the basket. But where's else are the clams? They need just 2 more to get lead. They just need 2 more. They found them. 1, 2. That is lead for Nawal.
Are you kidding? That big brain booyah from Aizen to just pop it to get paint underneath their feet so that way they can grab the clams under basket. Exactly what they needed it in the moment that they needed it. Their teammate may have gone down, but they went down in a great place. This time, the re-engage is different because Nawal has presence in mid as Yohard That's Jumper is trying to get back in.
Yeah, 2 power climbs will completely end this game before, we'll completely get Yohard that lead. This is good for Yohard. They got 3 down on the side of Nawal, and just a splash with the crab tank at the ready, but Unaware has a Booyah Bomb going straight at Chomper, and Chomper is gone.
Oh, this could be big for Yohard. They need to dunk this power clam, and then they only need 1 more clam. And they have 2 powers, and they have that 1 clam. There goes the power. Can Bran get in a single clam? It's Bran, so of course he can. He gets that dunk, and now Nawal Gaming forced into overtime, but all they need is that 1 power. This is an incredibly dicey and single point lead that both of these teams are holding.
Chomper, if Chomper finds a spot on Bran, that would be massive. Bran gets 1, Bran gets 2. How many more will Bran find? Nawal's just trying to find the space. Bran goes down and gets a 3rd as well. No way that Unaware and Bran just came in clutch together and are continuing to tear up Nawal. As the clock of overtime drains down and the power climb expires, Yohard will be punching their ticket to finals.
What an incredible game. This is different than any other Clamblitz Museum game that I've ever seen. Clamblitz Museum has the habit of being... And we did see a little bit of that this game, right? With Yohard maintaining excellent control over Nawal Gaming's plat. But Nawal found their way in twice. Fantastic job. Very, very different, and what a game where the lead was decided by such a small amount of points each time. It was a power clam and 2 clams. It was a power clam and 1 clam. It was a power clam, and that minute. A single mistake can cost you the game there, and that's exactly what happened. Bran, in that moment, despite being such a fantastic and mechanically skilled Slayer, knowing that all he had to do was just boop, push the A button, and with, as you said, punch their ticket.
punching the ticket. That's all that matters for them. They're on their way to winning the tournament. They have one more hurdle to climb, and that is QuantMum. We'll see that match after this break. Welcome back from the break, everyone. I am Genie7, joined by Skepidillions. Here we are in SOS Grand Finals of tournament number 98. Yo Hard That Jumper versus QuantMum. This should be a good best of 5.
It should be an excellent best of 5, not just a good one. We're talking about Honestly, some of the best players in the West on a Wednesday night. Genuinely, it's a shocker. On the side of QuantMum, we do have the former world champion Power. Whenever you see QuantMum or Yamum, their teams, he's a player that you have to talk about. Hunty, Power, Hope, and oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the fourth member, but they did place second place in Shine 2022. Unforgettable. And then QuantMum, actually, we commentated them last week, Jeannie, before they had to throw to get their pizza.
Yeah, Hunty, she had to kind of throw to get her pizza.
Unfortunate. But this time, no pizza.
No pizza. And we do see Power on that Eliter, and Power goes down in zone. 2 crabs out for QuantMum. Lots of zone control. Good for QuantMum to start. This is looking good, except that Unaware says, I'm going to take the zone back if I'm going to fight for it myself. We're just trying to Booyah Bomb in, and they have got it back.
Something that I am finding as a key difference in between what QuantMum has been running, they last week ran Triple Splash and a Machine or a Brush. This time, they're having Power back on what he became so infamous for, being that leader. That might be a Wahoo-specific pick, given how open this map is, and if you can get Power on plat, it's over. The opponent's plat, I mean.
Honestly, even on their plat, it's doing so much damage for QuantMum. Yohard having to give up so much space, Test so far back, Bran trying to fight and wins that fight. Bran actually wins a fight in a 2v1 scenario, taking out Zero and Clef. 2 not bad members at all in the community.
No, fantastic. And look at this re-engage while QuantMum maintains their lives. They have 2 up, and Hunty positioned up on that right glass in order to be able to pin this here. Yohard, they have some special advantage to work with, and here comes that crab.
First one coming out from Test. They have Unaware trying to fight with them as well. Crab out defensively from QuantMum just to keep the members of Yohard not on top of their E-Leader, and it worked out very well for Zero and Power. Able to get the spots that they need, but also popping their crab tanks, making sure that the zone will be captured, and Zero just trying to stay alive.
Yeah, Zero does not get picked by Test, forced to drop. QuantMum having a very narrow penalty point, and we can see that Zero might even go for a flank here. Do it, Zero, do it. Oh, no, opting back around to catch up with the rest of his teammates in mid. And they're maintaining control of the zone in a deep stagger.
That was still completely a flank, and they're with the help of Power landing the shot on the headshot on the crab tank. Zero's going to be going with their own crab tank, finding Test, trying to find Test, gets them with that expo shot from around the wall, and I don't really know what you're going to do if you're Yohard with a crab on your elbow.
The splash heard around Wahoo world. Excellent flanks there from Zero. Oh, we got 10 ticks left.
Here we go. Killer Whale, crab tanks all trying to go in the zone, trying to paint hard jump. Can't because QuantMum has all the paint that they need. You got a splash coming from both sides, and an Ealer trying to tap shot zone. Who knows? The Ealer might have clutched the game with the tap shots.
Oh man, you never know, but the forward presence there from Zero with 25 ticks remaining, that's just going to create so much stall, and getting the pick on Test just deepens that stall, right? Because it takes so long to get from spawn to mid. Below 30 points, you really do just have to rush straight for that zone. It doesn't give you time to set up, and more often than not, it does lead to some forced feeding.
Skep, I want to say congratulations. Zero and Hunty are not going to come and find us anymore. This is the 4th time we've commentated this duo this year, and this is the first game that we've seen them win.
Wait, no way.
Yes, they got 5-0'd, 5-0'd, and 2-0'd.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah, I'm actually so happy that it's not us.
Yeah, you know, I'm very... Okay, just a moment to... You said Power and Hunty and Zero?
Just Power and Hunty, because Zero doesn't play on Yamum.
Okay. I'm so glad, guys, that we're not the problem.
We're not the problem.
You're fantastic, and I would hate to do it to you. All right, moving forward, the tower control Macomar. Both of these teams running that double splash. I very, very strongly don't think that that's going to change. So the team that gets that tower going gets a player in street and then pops either a crab on both of those stacks or one on left stack, one on street. That team wins. That's the win condition. They're playing the same game.
Yeah, I want to look at just the comps as well. I don't feel like Power's going to come out on that E-leader on tower control Mako. Definitely, Sniper in Power's hands, always a good pick, but maybe not. Okay, never. This is why I leave comps to you, Scap. Take it away.
Yeah, all right. Power's sticking up on that leader. That leader is great, particularly on this fast-paced map like Mako Mart, where teams want to feed, they want to take space, they want to get on those stacks, and whatever team does that first, they're going to be running straight into Power. Power isolated on this left stack, though, very quickly being hunted down by Brand.
Brand wants to find Power, wants to get a little bit hungry for that, but not too. Doesn't want to be taken out by that laser, and the shots are going to be trying to go in to stop this first checkpoint from going. But YoHard, they're going to have that one locked down with Brand's Crab Tank able to find Power. 2 more members of QuantMum on this right side. Hunty's just trying to stay alive for Brand, and Zero is able to come in and punish Brand.
Yeah, that crab on that stack, like I mentioned, is such a powerful win condition for exactly what Brand did to Power. Using those burst shots to clear that cover, to make that cover unsafe. Hunty's play there to go around and flank that crab is what allowed QuantMum back into mid, getting rid of that firepower so early.
We're going to see good opportunity for QuantMum to get some points on the board. They have to watch out because Unware's on that left side and Tess is on this right side. That Wavebreaker should be able to find some members out and at least force them to play jump route. But that's okay. The members of YoHard, they said, I'm going to take the fight to you before this finds me.
Regardless, QuantMum is on that tower. We do see that Power is going to be jumping in there. I want to see who gets up on this snipe here and who starts running it down. Are you kidding me? Through the sightline, bro. You don't need to
shot
see
through
you.
the brim smoke. Power is playing a different game over here.
For real, for real. Power up on this left stack, though, just gonna be looking at anybody that dares to step their feet in mid.
That flick on Brent, I feel like it was intentional, but I also don't feel like it was. Power just hits differently. I don't understand why Power. Power, are you okay? Power, are you okay?
God. Oh my God!
What is happening?
Get the blood! Oh my God! Do it! It shreds the crab. You know what? It was still a good pop off anyway. Thank you, Power, for giving us that moment. Unable to clear the checkpoint though.
No, not able to get it. Brand's able to jump onto that checkpoint to stall it for a little bit. QuantMum not able to get it, even though it's holding down at 2. Is gonna be punished and wipe out. YoHard the jumper. I don't know how they respond after that, after Power just shot them all.
I mean, the fact that they get the wipeout here is huge for them, right? Because they're going to be able to paint up mid, but there's still so much yellow ink in mid, so QuantMum set up very well for a defense here, especially having that crab. Hunting on that left stack is definitely going to be a stall here. And the Brand with the crab on the tower, but there's no one on that left side. Brand's on snipe. It's a problem.
That is a problem. If Hunty can find this, no, they can't. Hunty's not able to find that, and this is dangerous because Brand has a free sightline on Power. Power has no charge and is in no scenario to fight. No burst bombs are going to save you in this scenario. Brand's actually going to opt and go back and play objective with their team. Smart play, because I think they're going to be able to get lead, and they do. But can they get through this checkpoint? 1 point left. I don't think they will. And that is a huge, huge hold for QuantMum, even if they lost lead.
You could see, honestly, seeing Brand and Power duke it out in a Wednesday night weekly boggles my mind. It's so fascinating to see such an aggressive front line running down a player as omnipotent as Power. Regardless, not clearing that second checkpoint may come back to bite YoHard that's jumper in the foot, as QuantMum is situated well for a push here.
Power's just trying to hold on to this tower. So much chip damage, so many burst bombs, so many machine shots coming through from YoHard, and it forced them back. Forced QuantMum back. It's gonna be okay because the members of YoHard is falling. They're falling so fast. The tower it actually got forced back a little bit too far to have that second checkpoint under contention.
Brand is consistently flanking through that left side and stopping these pushes as they try and clear that left plat. I hope that QuantMum is able to realize that, because if they manage to shut that down, that could be huge. Regardless, there is a crab up on their left stack, opting to ignore it as they clear the remaining members.
And if Brand falls, Brand says, no, Clef, you can't do this. I've got my burst bombs, I'm ready. If Brand finds Power, this would be Mig. Actually finds Zero. And Brand's gonna find Power as well. No, the teammate's gonna, but that's okay. Brand's gonna out with the 4-piece, and that's gonna be an effective wipeout. They see Clef on this top left. YoHard, this is an opportunity for them to steal the game away.
And they have that whale ready to go. Realistically, they just need to maintain control of mid, but playing that slow game, if QuantMum gets any picks here, that is huge for them. They need to get into mid, however, and they need to get pressure on those stacks.
QuantMum, they're trying to go in the killer whale, and Brand's crab tank is proving to be a little bit too much. Clef is the last one alive and aren't able to get to the tower. Yo hard that jumper. Even with how hard QuantMum pushed, they were able to push just that 1 point more.
This is going to be an incredibly exciting and even set, Genie. Look, 2 games won by a single point, back to back. Am I tripping? No. Yes,
yeah.
I'm tripping a little bit. I'm sorry.
Knockout a
Knockout for
single
zones.
point. Then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the previous set. Forgive me.
You know what could come down to 1 point though? Rainmaker Hagglefish. The map that did come down to 1 point that last time.
See, I'm not crazy. Rainmaker Hagglefish. Did someone say leader? Because I did. Having that leader up on that tent on the right side, some people call it tarp, some people call it hut, I call it hut. Having a leader up on hut to be able to just say, you don't get to exist in mid, you don't get to get anywhere near that fish, is such a powerful presence.
Long, we still here?
Boing.
Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm going to be doing, Skep and I are still here. We had a little bit of a blip on the stream. Bowling unfortunately DC'd, but the match is still happening. So I will lead you through what is currently happening from Zero's POV. Zero had grabbed the Rainmaker on our Rainmaker Hagglefish game before going down early.
And it looks like they are going to be playing that out. They can't see that our spec DC'd, which is a tad unfortunate, but it is the nature of the situation, Genie.
We are going to be seeing that Yohard pushed onto their left side checkpoint and able to grab that Rainmaker and are pushing the Rainmaker all the way down to 36. The members of QuantMum are trying to jump out. They have crab tanks going out, trying to fight for this Rainmaker control. It looks like the defense is going to be able to come through for QuantMum. Actually, as I say that, Yohard has the members and they're pushing forward. Brand's got this Rainmaker really close to the pedestal, looking to go for a dunk. The members of Yohard, they're going to be able to dunk this Rainmaker. No, they can't. All the way down to 1 point. That's all that we have. Well, the jumps are going to be punished by QuantMum.
We may find ourselves in a situation where our streamer is able to connect very quickly, given that they are only down to 1 point. Yamum, however, going to defend this here because, Yohard, that's jumper, is not able to get anywhere near that fish. They are going to force it to reset.
We have no power. Actually, I don't know if we have power in the lobby. I can't. Hey, Zero, can you put your thing on so I can see who's in the lobby? Power is not playing either. Power is in it. Yo, Zero just read my mind and went to the lobby. I can't see.
Power is playing machine? Power is playing machine.
Yes.
Power's playing machine. That's incredible, but it does make sense given that you have these sides which are very claustrophobic and easy for Fizzy to clear. Regardless, look at the damage that they're consistently they're starting to do to Yamum. They're going to break the first checkpoint. So just to get everyone up to speed, Yohard Jumper has broken, has gotten all the way down to 1 point remaining, but now we see QuantMum getting into a situation where they have broken that first checkpoint with 2.5 minutes remaining, and they do get it onto plats.
Yeah, they are able to get it on the plat, and Zero's trying to run it forward. Unfortunately, gets shut down with 2 members of their teammate going down around them as well. This is a very interesting way. I mean, we're trying to bring you the best action that we can possible while we do not have a spectator. So you guys are just going to have to listen to us, try and break down the action for you while we are watching the Splatoon 1 style of stream.
We are trying to get a POV up. No, Zero hit me with the ad. Zero!
No!
What's going on?
The action is still happening. Zero's going to be jumping back in. We are under 2 minutes remaining. Just about 2 minutes, under 2 minutes remaining. The Rainmaker is back sitting on mid. Hagelfish zones. The checkpoints are currently none on the board at all. QuantMum down to 24, but Yohard is all the way down at 1. 3 members gone from QuantMum. This should be another push, and they're pushing on to the opposing left side. So that's the path that's least pushed for Yohard.
Yeah, Bran has that Rainmaker, but is alone. We see that QuantMum has 2 splashes up. One of them has that crab. Bran taking the fish all the way towards that left side and is opting to put it in a situation where Yohard can stall that out even once Bran goes down.
Yeah, Bran just sat in this corner, and no way Bran gets 2. Bran gets 3 in the scenario in on that right trench where you can't really fight with the Rainmaker. That's the only place that Bran was, and they're able to stall this Rainmaker, pushing it all the way back to that right side checkpoint as well. I don't understand how Bran's able to stay alive with this, as we see Zero trying to pop their crab tank, going forward with their burst bombs and a lot of damage, but unfortunately gets taken out by Unaware.
Yeah, the fish does explode once Bran runs out of that timer. It's left alone on this right side. QuantMum has 2 splashes once again left standing. They are able to pop, but given that there's only 40 seconds remaining in this game, if the Rainmaker resets here, they are going to have to rush it down and get that pick. We do see Zero going in, gets 2 very clean picks, but finished off by Seth on that 52 as the Rainmaker resets.
Oh, and I believe everyone can see that feed that we are seeing currently. We're under 30 seconds. We've got a lot of specials trying to come up on board for the side of QuantMum. They want to get this game so they're not in that deep hole, but it's going to really take a miracle now.
All right, but it's a 2v2 situation in mid. There's just that one on that right wing. They are going to be forced to drop, so QuantMum is going to be able to grab this fish, but they need to make sure that that fish is able to stay alive, but it's going to be shut down by the crab's burst shot, expediently wrapping up that game. So Yohard, that's Jumper, is up in our grand final set 2-1. We are at match point, and we'll be able to get our streamer back in that lobby so we won't have to pull this podcast style, even though that's familiar to Jamie.
Well, you know what? I remember the Splatoon 1 days. I remember the podcast days. Hey, if you guys want a podcast, we will be back live with the SAC podcast, shutting it out because it's on IPL on, what is this? February 20th. That will be Monday. Genie and Rays with our lovely streamer Boeing again, breaking down the action going into qualifier 4, which is happening on the 25th of February. Shoutouts to that. That'll be on everything. Will be on IPL.
You know, I've never done a Splat 1 stream before.
Well, that's kind of what it looked like. You watched the streamer's POV, and we commentated the action. So we couldn't move around. If the streamer died, you saw the death animation. You saw, like, if they went off and got, like, a 30 bomb, then you saw them pull off a 30 bomb. It was a unique experience.
You know, I bet, right? But you were stuck only watching one POV. I bet that created some heroes, honestly.
That SRB2 dude is probably the biggest hero out of all of that, because his streaming quality was good, and with his pure mechanical, just gifted talent of aim, raw aim, he found himself deep in many, many weeklies, which is why he was so popular. He became the current dude that we know today.
All right, it's now or never for QuantMum. They have 2 more games to win if they want to take this dub versus Yohard, that's Jumper, looking not to go back down in second place like they did last month.
Yeah, we're gonna see this Clownblitz game power back onto the E leader. I like that pick.
I do, and that does make sense, honestly. They've been playing very, very well on it. Also, it's different than Rainmaker. With Rainmaker, you might want that quickness that the machine could give you, the flexibility, the fluidity, versus Leader, you want to hold this basket here and you don't want to lose it.
No, and they're actually going to go back, opting to relinquish all the space so Yohard can put those power cleanse into the basket. There is a crab, which is making all that space, and the clams that are ripping through the basket are really, really, really gonna hurt QuantMum's chances in this tournament.
But stopping it at 56 is quite doable, assuming they manage to keep Bran out of this elbow. They do, but Yohard, that's Jumper, not dying to feed for objective. Fantastic job, because now they continue to maintain control of all of those pod spawns, and QuantMum, unless they get a triple or a double here, is going to have a much harder time pushing.
I see Zero's crab tank trying to just find those lob shots, trying to see the damage, trying to get some information, but oh, finesses test! Pass that test with flying colors there, Zero. No zeros on that one.
Fantastic job, and look at this paint. QuantMum has control of that right elbow, and we have a crab v crab situation as QuantMum burns their specials here in order to control that elbow. But they don't have a power clam. As I say that, they do, and they manage to junk. Now they just need to look forward.
They're looking forward. They've got clams. They're trying to find more. We see somebody power. That's power throwing them in. 1, 2, 3, all the way down to 59. They see more. More clams are going in, and that's Hunty. She's going to be able to take the lead. She's got one more clam in her inventory. Throws it in. Has to try and live, but Test with that crab tank, proving to be a little bit too strong. All the way down past 40. QuantMum. They have a lot of life in this tournament.
Absolutely. And we did see Power go for a cheeky little jump clam toss, trying to see if they could hit the basket from all the way in mid. They didn't, but I saw the attempt and I thought it was cute.
It is always cute when you see the English trying to sneak the power that climb as far as they can, but not quite there. Seth, whoa, Seth got a lot of space, but no. Zero says no to that, but gets punished. Trades back and forth. Power trying to find some shots on Bran, but just out of that range. Don't want to dance with that too much, though, Bran.
And has 5 clams, like I've said a couple of times. Ooh, the confidence!
Oh, the testes of absolute steel on Bran right there. I couldn't do that. Unaware, able to punish Zero in that scenario. This should be good for Jumper, but they've lost 2. They've lost 2 and then only have Unaware, who's just trying to slosh around, could easily get punished in this situation that they're in.
They don't have clams to push. QuantMum, the longer this goes on, the longer they hold lead. If they continue to trade out, they're going to be looking good. But as I say that commentator's curse, we find ourselves in a 2v1 situation. And now, the Yohard, that's Jumper, has complete control of this elbow. But once again, they don't have clams.
Don't have clams. Bran's got this space, but that doesn't matter. Oh, there's a power clam. That was a pity clam. They didn't capture that one. They just took it from their own base. They have no more clams, though. They need to get them in mid. They need to. There's just one more clam that they need to get this lead. Can they find it? Can they find it? They know where it is. It's in mid, and they will. They'll got it. QuantMum trying to defend, but not looking so good. Yohard, this Jumper. They have specials again. Test has a crab. Are they going to use it? They do, but the basket will close. Power.
Okay, yeah, great snipe, but do they know that Bran is there? Yes. Because Bran is playing that left side. Yeah, it sure looks like they do, because now they're looking about it, but they don't have any clams. QuantMum trying to take mid, trying to get clams. We can see that Power is looking to get on top of that snipe by how they're taking pot shots at that. They do want to clear that, but struggling to maintain control of her elbow.
Yeah, and this is good for Power if they can just hold on and get some shots down that they need. Brand's actually going to punish Hunty, who does drop down. They need Power to find the shots. We need to see that Power that we saw on that to really rip it open for QuantMum.
Look at these 2 members up on that left side as that crab does come out. QuantMum has 2 specials to work with. Yohard, that's Jumper, however, can score again. They have 14 clams. That is quite huge. And now they have a squid advantage with Seth and Nettle, but not for long. Quickly, that's snatched away from them as QuantMum forms a power.
Yeah, QuantMum has a power. Zero's going in with the crab tank. They are going to be marked by Seth. They will always be seen with that haunt ability. Zero's just trying to stay alive. We do see Unaware falling. Zero's going up on this right side. Power's going to look for those shots. Can QuantMum get this power climb in? They're going to get flanked. No, Brand's just in the middle of all the action. Can they get that power climb in the basket? They have to. QuantMum has to do this to stay alive in the tournament. They're just unaware. Just unaware. Hunty's got to get it in the basket. No! No, and they're in the crab tank. The clock is going to get down for Power to throw it in. Unfortunate for QuantMum. They had the members alive, but they were using a special, which prevented you from grabbing that power clam. And Yohard, that Jumper, are able to hold on by one singular point and take this tournament.
That is 2 1-point games this set, and that time I did do the math correctly, Genie. This is absolutely ridiculous that Power jumped in, grabs the clam, and gets the dunk in terms of the clam is spinning, but by the time the basket is physically broken, it's beyond the 20-second mark, so they are not granted an extension of overtime. It really shows that does happen to top level, and that's not just a low ink moment. Oh man!
Bro, when the world champion can't even dunk the power clam because it's spinning on the basket.
It's all of us, so relatable, just like me for real.
Oh, with
man.
that, this was a nutso tournament. I can't wait.
It really was nutso. I'm sorry to cut you off there, Genie. I'm just flabbergasted.
You cut me off. I was kind of done. I don't know. I'm done. I'm done. Don't listen to me. And actually, this tournament actually went smooth. It really did go smooth, and I can't wait for 99 and then 100. Like, I'm probably just gonna be watching 100, but I will be excited for 99.
I'm so excited. I'm excited for both of these teams that we got to watch them perform, right? Yamum, QuantMum, fantastic pickup / team / whatever you want to call them. They have played a couple of tournaments together, and regardless, that core of Power and Hunty have been playing together for quite some time.
Yeah, and with that, this marks the end of the tournament. Skep, I think we have some things to shout out before we do end off this stream. So do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Yeah, I would love to talk about Squids on Ice. Boing, if you could hit me with that graphic. Squids on Ice is a little local that I'm running here in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm very excited about it. We have like 10 people signed up right now. It might be 11 by now. And you know, Splatoon players, they tend to sign up for things last minute. So don't do that to me. Please register now so that way I can know how many setups and equipment and such that we need. I look forward to seeing everyone there, and I'm just, oh gosh, Genie, I'm so excited about it.
I can't wait for you because like I remember the first Toronto lands, they were like 8 people. They were 8 people, so 11 people start is like that's big money, and they just kept going and going because people loved them. Yeah, I can't wait. I would love to come if it wasn't so far away. If it wasn't like the last state before the ocean away from me. But
well, you know,
with
cool.
that, I gotta shout out SAC if we have something like that. We've got our turn. I did shout it out earlier. SAC, our next tournament is February 25th, tournament 4. Never too late to cause some disruption in the standings. You could even maybe mathematically, if you win, slide your way into that top 4. We also have a podcast which will be talking about it. That will be on the Monday. That will be the 20th. Talking about all the action, breaking down. Both those will be here on IPL. And with that, Skep, I think you and I have one more thing to do before we shut ourselves out.
Yeah, actually. Hello, everyone. I hope this is okay with our lovely brethren at IPL, and I'm sure it is.
It is.
But
I'll take the blame.
Jeannie and I will be commentating grand finals of 20XX on Sunday. If you are not signed up for 20XX, what are you doing? If you enjoyed our commentary and the commentary that we've been bringing to SAC for the past month or so, I would really appreciate it if you tuned out to watch us stream. Fantastic Day 2 commentators, Rissa and Dora, who have really helped us out by sharing the load a little bit. And then Day 1 is
Broken Pinky and Weef.
Broken Pinky and Weef, who I'm actually going to meet Weef at my local Squids on Ice, so super exciting.
Yeah, Weef was just on with Lily earlier, so you'll get one half of that.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
And I don't have to say, if you're not interested in watching, if you're an IPL loyalist and don't want to watch Dapple, I've got another thing for you. Failboat's YouTube channel. He will be streaming with Jmoji and our lovely streamer Boeing, who is here today, whose internet will be 100% perfect. If you want to watch a Boeing stream for Jmoji and Failboat have a lot more casual, laid-back, super just vibey set, you can watch the Day 2 action there on Failboat's YouTube channel. And I know for us, Skep, between our matches and on day 1 and day 2, Gem from Squid School, yes, Professor Squid School will be breaking down all the matches during the downtime between sets. So while there's no action going on, you can have all the action that just happened being broken down by a professional teacher.
We appreciate the level of effort that is going into production with the new year. Like, we have JPEG making us fantastic graphics, right? Like the in-between, like, so we can see what else is going on in bracket. Fantastic. All right, it's such a game changer. It's no longer the Battlefy screenshots. I love it. We didn't get to use it much tonight, but I'm sure that we will continuously in the future. You know, and then we have Falco running 2 streams at once. And then, you know, honestly, Dapple with this new analyst desk, which I know IPL is, you know, looking at affectionately. And then, you know, a casual stream. It's just, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for everyone who's really nerdy about production. Like, there's good things cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah. I gotta say, 20XX art prizes for every bracket winner. And you get a the cool 20x badge for winning. Everyone moves on to day 2. So the more low level teams that we have, the more teams of low level that you play on day 2. Please just play. Don't drop when you go to day 2.
Do it.
Everyone, do it. Trust. Like, if we have every low ink team join, low ink will just be gamma bracket. We'll have low ink inside of 20XX.
All right. Well, without any further ado, I think we've shilled enough, Genie.
Now they're not gonna want to follow us.
Where can the good people find you?
I was gonna say you can find me at all those events, and I find my Twitter at Genie7. That is GEENIE7 _ on Twitter. No _ on all other socials. Yes, that includes TikTok, which I have no posts.
And you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok at Skepadillions, as has been seen on screen throughout the event. Thank you for having us, Boing, and, you know, our lovely SOS staff. And without further ado, I hope you all have a fantastic night and stay fresh.